shake. Make the ground shake.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Atlanta Community Open for the month of October. My name is Bass on the Pass, and joined alongside me here today is the lovely Caribou. And together, we are going to be taking you through this grand final for the month. $500 on the line. 3 qualifiers led up to this very day. We're in a single elimination tournament for 8 different teams. We will battle it back and forth to find their share of those $500. I am excited to get into this one. Caribou, how are you doing on this fine Thursday, my friend?
my light's not turning on, and I'm severely concerned about why that's the case. But I'm excited for some Rocket League action. I was just really hoping that my light would put me in the mood for this because I need some more color back here. Like, for what it's worth, like, this is an awesome background, but like, I don't know if my batteries are dying or what, but my batteries inside me are not dying. I just am ready. I'm excited. You know, like you said, 3 exciting qualifiers all up to this point in the finals. Thumbs up, green light. Let's do this.
Yes, indeed. Let's get into this one. And, well, we're going to go through 4 different rounds today. Like I said, 8 teams have made it to this final match through 3 different qualifiers. It's been an incredible month full of some incredible different Rocket League action here. But it all has led to tonight. And as you can see, once a week, every single Thursday at 6 Eastern, we battled it out. Or not us, but the players on the pitch battled it out for $175 for a spot during this final month. 3 came from the first, 3 from the second, and 2 from the final one, leading up to an 8 total, which will battle out here tonight. And Caribou, you were here for a couple of these. It was pretty intense throughout this month, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, these players, the competitors, every month never disappoint. I mean, it's just incredible what they bring to the table week in and week out, and the difference of gameplay every time they come back around. You know, they all just learn every time they come through and understand their competition just a little bit more, and they make these qualifiers so exciting, which just leads up to this grand finale, this final stage, where it's just so exciting because we know how close and how incredible this competition is, and how much this means to them. Of course, for a community open, it's free to play. Any given Thursday for some Rocket League action to walk away with some money, it's a good time. But when you qualify for top 8 to get to this grand final, to look at this prize pool, at the potential to walk away with $350 in your pocket, split between you and your teammate, that's a Thursday well spent.
Oh, yes, it is. I would say so, at least. If I get to play some video games and walk away with over $300, I think that's a win any day of the week. But we're going to have to figure out who wins this one overall, because like we said, a lot of really good competitors here. And for $500, you know, everybody is going to be coming with the absolute greatest firepower here. And, well, maybe we can take a look back at some of the other firepower we have seen throughout this month. We got a top 10 video for y'all here today that I'm hoping we're going to be able to pull on in just a second. And, Caribou, why don't you kick us off with this one at number 10?
Looking at number 10, we know Kemi and Storm's a dynamic duo that have been here through and through. This time, the dynamic duo does not disappoint. A nice pass off the wall from the ceiling into the corner. Top 90. This duo is a team you're going to have to watch out for, regardless of the time that they are playing in this community open.
100%. They'll be showing up here today, but another team that's absolutely going to be showing up here today is, I believe, this Grupo Terracola squad with Stizzy involved. Nice little flick out at midfield, completely dismantling the defense and then slotting it in on a counterattack. These solo plays are common from this team. I'm going to tell you this, you better watch out for it today, and maybe even watch out for some more solo plays in this top 10.
Yeah, and of course, we know that solo plays is a huge difference maker in these because we know how much it relies on the duo, but when you can just showcase your flashy solo play every once in a while, well, it's a pretty good sign as we see Storms doing just that here off the corner and just playing it off the wall to yourself, getting over the defense, getting that back boost, and making sure that the defenders both are biting on the pitch to get the goal. 6-3 that scoreline. Storms making sure the job gets done.
And talking about solo plays, let's look at one more. Stizzy here tries to go for a little bit of a reverse flick, and you think it'd be a pass, but no, look who reads it off the corner. Stizzy gonna find their own shot after just the littlest redirect from Rubik's there. It's a nice little 1-2 punch here, but this first flick, just unreal, and the follow-up after just as nice. Again, it's a team you're gonna want to look out for. This duo has been taking names all month, and I expect it to continue.
They have made it look good. Another duo that looks good through and through. Pablo and Aqua, we've seen them do so much. Aqua here with a nice little flip reset, getting the back flip touch. A 3-1 scoreline here, given the insurance in the closing seconds. This duo, we know, as Troy and I have called them, one of the top Cougars A, B, C, D, E teams. Recruits of sneakies. They work.
They absolutely do. And, well, speaking of work, we've seen this player many times, and he'll continue to do work. Stizzy another one into the back of the net here from a double touch off the backboard. This looks so simple, you'd think it was easy, but no. Smallest little angle, perfect touch, and Stizzy takes that number 5 slot.
And of course, keeping the train rolling, Pablo and Aqua, Stacey Rubix, we're no strangers to any of the above. And this time around, it's nice little carry and a bump in front of the net to make sure this ball goes across the line to the back of the net. Good control from Aqua here, and a good understanding of what Stacey's trying to do to get this extra touch on and give them that lone goal.
Beautiful shot at that, but the beautiful shots will not end there. We mentioned Pablo before. Well, let's look at them just again. Quick little check-in, and what are they going to do this time? They're going to try and go up, and they're going to fake out the flip reset. Goes low under the last defender here, completely dismantling the defense once again. And this is the type of shots you're going to just have to be prepared for here today. This is going to be commonplace for these teams.
It's going to be a matter of who's going to be able to stop these showmaker abilities here coming in. Number 2. You think we've seen these players a few times already in this top 10? Well, we're not done yet. Pablo Aqua, Stacey Rubix again in front of the net. If it doesn't go the first time, we'll watch it go the second time. A great putback opportunity here. Watching Pablo come back for the circle around. Knowing the defense out of commission, Stacey makes a great first save, but you can't stop them time and time again. Gives them a go-ahead.
Speaking of you can't stop them, let's look back at one of my favorite plays we've seen all month. The bully ball from Aqua. Look at that. Just absolute filth. Come through and body blocks off the kickoff. This is a pretty standard kickoff, but the procedure after from Aqua is just not. Like we said, all of these teams here today are very threatening and are very capable. So if everybody's not pulling off plays like that, they might just get caught by surprise. And this is why we're so excited for this one, folks. We've been talking about this all month here, Caribou. This is one of these things where every team has brought their A game, and I'm hoping they continue to display that here today. But like we mentioned, it's a single elimination bracket. So a lot of these teams not going to really have the time to try and develop here. We do move into best of 5 for these series, so at least a little bit of time to adjust. But I'm interested, in your opinion, what are going to be the keys to victory for some of these teams today if they want to try and make it through?
First and foremost, show up. That's, for some reason, one of the most challenging things that some of these teams have found is that when they qualify top 8, they just don't show up. So as long as you show up, you already got a great start. You got my support. Good job. Second off, you got to be able to understand the assignment, right? Like looking at what we just saw in that number 1 play, Aqua understood the assignment. They get first touch off the ball, they immediately apply pressure, and they understand what to do to get the defense out of the equation. If you're in a position where your offense applies so much pressure that the defense is constantly reacting to what you're doing, and you have an understanding of how to get them out of the play, you are already miles ahead in the game state to be able to put yourself in a position to take advantage, to get the shots on, to get the goal scored. Double-digit shots is always a threshold. As long as you hit that, you have a really good chance of winning. So if you spend a lot of time on the offensive side of the pitch, odds are you're going to fare pretty well here today.
It's very difficult to try and withstand offensive pressure if you have a 3-man rotation. You bring that down to 2, and then all of a sudden, it's even more difficult. One mistake, and that's an opening that a team can absolutely capitalize upon and just slot in shot after shot after shot until eventually one finds the back of the net. And yeah, I would agree with you on that. That offensive pressure really is going to be key for pretty much any team that we watch here today. The question is who's going to most likely take this one? Because again, all 8 of these teams are very, very capable, but I don't really know who to hinge my bets on at this point. There's a couple of teams I'm definitely going to be looking towards. Wabies Wise Whales are a team that we've been waiting to pop off. And once they finally did pop off, oh my word, did they pop off. They took last week by storm. No one, I mean, I'm not going to say no one was expecting them to do that, but you kept seeing competition pop up and you'd go, okay, this is where they'd eventually, start to find some trouble. And they wouldn't. And then you'd go the next player and you'd go, okay, maybe this is where they find some trouble. And they wouldn't. They just kept getting better and better. So I've got my eyes on the Wise Whales for this week. They're a very capable team, and I really do think that they're just going to have an incredible showing here today.
Yeah, and of course, with the random seeding, it adds a little extra spice to it. You don't really know who you're going to be playing up until, top of the hour when that bracket is finalized. But that's a team that's, they've been around for at least during the last Community Open last month. They popped up a time or two here this month as well, obviously qualifying here to the top 8 today. But a team that has been around the block, kind of understanding the competition. They know what's going on here. But like you said, last week, they just really stepped up and met expectations as, what we saw them give glimpses of, a hint of here and there. But as you alluded to, it was just okay, we've seen them do well, but maybe in this next matchup, they're going to meet that challenge where they can't quite overcome that. So we'll be excited to see if that does, elevate their gameplay, elevate them here to this competition to play into top 8, to go out for that grand prizing here today. On top of that, though, there's 7 other teams that equally earned their right to be here. So it's not going to be an easy road by any means. It's no yellow brick road to the Emerald City at all. They're going to have to fight tooth and nail for this one if they want to walk away with that 350.
100%. It's not going to be an easy battle whatsoever. And, well, you've heard our thoughts on this one, but now it's time for you guys to get involved in the conversation as well. Make sure to stay connected with us online using the hashtags ATLOpen and hashtag IATLGG. Let us know your opinions. Who do you think is taking the end of this month here with 8 teams capable of doing so? I've got to imagine there are a bunch of different opinions around there, so let us know. Head on to Twitter, head on to Insta, head on to wherever you might have socials, and let us know what you think about the end of this month, because the Atlanta Community Open at this point has been such an incredible back and forth. So many really good teams popping up here. And, well, this first matchup, I don't think is going to be any different. Guess what? We're going with Wavies Wise Wales right out the gate. WWW facing off against Northway. 2 teams which have, if I'm not mistaken, won this event. So, like you said, random seeding can sometimes be detrimental for the teams. And at this point, we've got to say goodbye to the winner of one of the qualifiers already.
Yeah, it's going to be a phenomenal matchup between these two. I mean, we already saw enough of the highlights from Pablo and Aqua coming into this one in that top 10 segment alone, and we know what they're capable of, as Pib and I so call them, one of the many top Cougars squads. It's the A team, B teams, however many teams that Sneaky has put together by now. One of the greatest recruiters apparently in this community open, but Pablo and Aqua, a phenomenal duo that is going to be met with a great challenge here from this team here on the other side with Wavy and Caden. And it's just going to be very difficult in this opening round in a best of 5. And flip a coin, I think, which way this goes. I don't think this is going to be a 3-0 by any means. I don't think it's going to be commanding at all. I think this is going to be very close. I imagine if I had to flip the coin, I will probably give it a 4-game set. And I'm actually going to go with Pablo and Aqua. I think Wavy and Caden take a game, but I will give it to Pablo and Aqua in a 3-1.
Interesting. All right. I like the prediction there. Pablo and Aqua taking this one. It's very possible considering the fact that I believe the last time we did see Wavies Wise Wales face up against Northway, or we're in the same bracket, Northway ended up winning that bracket overall. So very possible. But I might give it to Wavies Wise Wales here. WWW, for one reason, and I would say one reason alone, it feels like the team is getting better every time we see them play. So, well, like you said, earlier in this tournament, earlier in previous months, they may not have been able to produce here. Last week, every time we saw them hit the pitch, they got better and better and better and better. They just continued to get better to the point where we came into this one a little bit critical. We were saying, all right, I think Caden really needs to start popping up on offense. We need to see him get a little bit more involved. And by the end of it kind of really felt like maybe it was Wavi who needed to get more involved. He had just elevated himself to such another level, but that's sort of the thing, is that both Wavi and Caden, I feel like, have individual prowess, which is going to be able to help them here today. So let's find out. All I'm looking for is a good best of 5 here because, again, we're saying goodbye to one of the qualifier winners at this point. If we don't get a best of 5 that is absolutely legendary, we're just getting robbed at that point, Trevor.
And I already like the fact coming into this one that Caden just sends a friendly GLHF cuties in the all chat, just understanding that regardless of what happens in this one, we're all here to have some fun. We're all here for some good competition, and this is going to be a great opening matchup between 2 phenomenal teams.
Absolutely. And, well, speaking of opening up, hello to all of our new viewers on the Xbox channel. Welcome to the Atlanta Community Open. This is the Grand Finals, a $500 tournament here where we've had 3 qualifiers throughout the month of October. Oh, my word. And the teams you see on screen have been battling it out this whole month for this shot, and they're playing just like such. Aqua out the gate finds themselves an angle.
And see, while I agree with you that WWW has a really good chance to continue to improve, to match the pace and get better as this series goes on, I think that they're going to be starting too far behind where Northway is, that they won't be able to catch up in time to make this a series that they can win. I think, looking at Game 3, Game 4 is where you might expect WWW to contest, and I think game 3 for them to take the win, but by game 4, Northway will understand what they have to do to make sure they close out the series, putting WWW against the wall. And the fact that we already see Pablo and Aqua working well together and controlling this ball and controlling possession to get that first shot, get that first goal, is a huge statement for the beginning of their event here tonight.
100%. We talk about it a lot. Momentum really can carry teams at this level. A lot of these guys don't necessarily have that RLCS experience, those experience in those really high-level tournaments where the pressure is on. So events like this can frazzle them a little bit. They can get a little bit too nervous and then all of a sudden leave themselves in inadvantageous positions. Speaking of which, Aqua in a pretty good position to score something there, not quite able to capitalize, but maybe Wabi can do it on the other end instead, off the backboard, and it will not really turn into a shot. But like you said, it kind of feels like Northway are comfortable here. They come out the gates firing immediately into this one, feeling like they are prepared. Meanwhile, I was going to say, Wabi's Wise Whales have a little bit of recovery, but apparently not.
I just pick up that back boost, and a smart little maneuver right there just to get that back bumper in front of Pablo to block off any momentum Pablo can pick up there to try to get back on the defense, try to get a bump off or something to that effect. Instead, Wavy gets the shot on, goal scored, equalizer 2 minutes in, and we're tied 1 goal apiece. And might not be waiting for Wavy's Wise Whales to catch up and get into this one because it seems like they're already there.
Yeah, at this point, it seems like they're pretty prepared here. It seems like the teams are starting to go out the gates firing. Wabi's Wise Whales might have taken a second to find some sort of strategy for their offense, but now that it's arrived, it's looking rather lethal, and I think something that we're not going to see that often is going to be those cross-court clears and cross-court goals we saw before. We'll see passing plays like this instead! Wabi and Caden connecting in front of the net, and do so in the blink of an eye.
A blink of an eye, exactly like that. Just watching the defense reacting ever so slowly to watch Wavy and Caden to get this shot on, to get that connection. And I say, looking at a double-digit shot threshold, you have a good chance of winning. They're already at 6 shots at the halfway mark. This duo is well on pace to put themselves in a position to win this game. The fact they only have 2 goals right now, I think, does not say enough. Make it 3 now. This team is right on track to put themselves in control of this series coming out of game number 1.
Crazy the turnaround as well, especially after going down by a goal that looked like they might be a little bit frazzled, but no such luck at all. Northway might have been excited to see them get a little bit nervous here, but apparently not. Like I had mentioned before, nerves really going to play a factor here, and I don't really know about the experience on the side of Northway, but I do know that Wabi's Wise Whales, at least in terms of Wabi, has played in some decent competitions before. I mentioned when initially bringing him up that he was a pretty big ones player in the Rocket League scene for quite some time, playing in a lot of show matches on some various channels and playing in some rather high-level competition against other really good ones players. So he's been in this position before with decent amounts of money on the line. Now, has he played for $500 before? That I'm not so sure about. So the nerves right now seem rather settled, but I'm interested to see as the day continues if we start to see teams crack under this pressure. Right now, it seems like Northway might be the team cracking under pressure. They came out the gates firing, but since that first goal, they've been rather quiet.
Yeah, a little slow on the roll, but now Pablo's coming back to answer any doubts that we might have been building here. Getting the nice aerial touch off the backboard, a good double touch over the top. Wavi in goal, but couldn't get there in time. Pablo there, a great read on the defense to just take this from midfield and understand a midfield possession to lead to an offensive opportunity. Was a great time to be in, and a kickoff commitment is going to leave the door wide open to 1, 2, 3, just like that. Make this a 3-3 game under 90 seconds to play.
And that specifically is why you see so many kickoff goals in twos. There are 2 options in twos, and well, I guess kickoffs in general. You can either cheat up as the second man, or you can go for the boost. And pretty much every high-level player I've seen always opts to go for the cheat. And here's the issue. Cheating is great if you win that cheat. If you don't, you expose yourself. And well, 2 times in a row now, Northway have exposed Wabi's Wise Whales, and all of a sudden, they're back on top.
And how fast that changed right there to go from Wabi in control of this game, potentially in control of game 1 of the series, to 3 unanswered, make it 4. unanswered from Pablo and Aqua. These kickoffs right now are just giving everything the way of Northway and taking from Wavi, who just seem to be scrambling to find something to slow down this momentum that Northway's picked up.
I am rather confused here at how one-sided these kickoffs have become. Is this another one? No, Aqua actually saves the goal. Luckily enough for Wavi's Wise Whales, they will find a little bit of reprieve here and then immediately collide on top of each other and give up the offense. This is confusing? I don't know what other word to use at this point. After seeing a 3-1 in favor of Wavi's Wise Whales, we were talking about how they seem to have settled down and seem more control. Then all of a sudden they give up 4 kickoff goals in a row, and even after the kickoff goals have ended, they still seem chaotic.
And maybe chaos is the answer that they needed, because it took them 20 seconds to put up all of these goals to take this lead back, and now just holding on to this insurance lead, under 30 to play. Looking at what's going to happen to come back from this game and how Wavi is going to find a way. I mean, Pablo with the aerial control over the top is going to be able to take this shot. Wavi's going to make this save, though. But now it's a point with the offensive possession on this side of the field, potentially too little too late now, is it seems Northway is going to go all the way to take this one out in game number 1.
I'd have to imagine so. I'm just rather confused here. We did get told by production that is EU servers, so that could be part of it. Is just the lag off the kickoffs might have been coming to the detriment of Wavi's Wise Whales. But at a certain point, if you realize you're about to lose every kickoff because your ping just doesn't let you get there first, but maybe make an adjustment and don't cheat on kickoff. I don't know. That's just my opinion here. Wavi's Wise Whales are the players who have got here. All we can do is chirp from the sidelines and hope maybe they can listen to what we've got to say here. But if I'm Wavi's Wise Whales, now that they're going back on a North American servers here, I would say stick with the kickoffs you had been going with. But if you go back to EU servers, try and play a little bit more cautious, because it's rather obvious that when Northway do win a kickoff, they really win a kickoff.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to make that adjustment, you know, going from server to the server. But hopefully now here on your home turf, you're going to do a little better. We can take a look at the replays of their experience on that EU side. And to start out, you know, we saw a very quick goal here in the first 45 seconds for Pablo and Aqua. It made it look like, okay, maybe this is going to be the game where they just really take it into consideration that this is a statement for them to get the victory, to walk away in complete control. But then we saw Wavi and Caden really step it up. They put up 3 goals on the board. They said, okay, we understand this isn't our server, but look at us. We can still make these plays, still make these passing plays to get around and behind the defense and take advantage.
And that's just something we really didn't see from there on out, was that take advantage part that you spoke about. The offensive pressure they were finding, they did find a couple of good offensive opportunities, but it just kind of felt lackluster the entire time. And here's the difference, is that you give 2 seconds off of the kickoff and immediately someone's going to score on the side of Northway here. They put in how many goals in what, maybe about a minute there? It was 2 to 3 before the 1:30 mark, and then by the time I think we got to the 30-second mark, it was 5 to 3. So yeah, it's going to show you, Northway got a lot of momentum in their favor, and when they catch that momentum, they can ride that straight to victory here, but it's something they can't necessarily try and falter on here. It feels like at their lows, Wavi's Wise Whales are going to take advantage of them almost every single time. But if they can play at those highs, if they can play at a pretty consistent level here, I think they can take down WWW. But again, it's can they play at those consistent levels? That's a hard thing, and for many teams at a near professional level, it's what separates them. 1 second in, and Caden's got a goal. Wait a minute, what?
6. Okay, well, that's the difference between servers, question mark? Wow. That was certainly a lot faster than I expected. I did not think that a 1 second goal was on the plate here for Caden and Wavi, but they managed to get away with that one and take an early lead here in game number 2. But I think that I agree in the sense of watching Pablo and Aqua. You know, at the lows, Wavi's team understands that, yes, they can take advantage over Northway, but you'll never hear me say this about any other team. If Northway can just plateau and plateau at a good point where they simply are playing good enough to get the job done, then they're going to get the job done, as we saw in that last game. You know, they put up 4 unanswered very quickly. All they got to do is plateau, but right now they're looking for that peak to get to that point where they want to plateau, and Aqua putting a goal back on the board here. It took a little more than a second, but 40 later, we got an equalizer.
I'll take that. I don't think most goals in Rocket League are going to come out a second there. So let's return to some normalcy here and see if we can get a little bit of a back and forth. I think that's what I'm going to hope for here, as Northway do seem to start to stunt now. Aqua finding some confidence on the single play there, but Wabies Wise Wales, like you said, they really do need to bring their A game if they want to try and face Northway in a competitive way. They need to get in their face and just not allow them to develop plays. And similarly, they also need to be careful. They've overexposed themselves by pressing into that offense too aggressively a couple of times here. And while Northway probably should have punished on a couple more chances here, they have done it already multiple times. So Wabies Wise Whale at this point need to try and have a little bit more of an all-around game. Yes, their offense has been solid, but it's been at the detriment of their defense. So let's see if they can hold this midfield presence a little bit more tightly. That definitely wasn't what I was talking about. Caden with a little bit of an overcommitment. But luckily enough, Wavi will be on the back end. And now let's see, can Caden predict this one? Not quite. Tries to go for the pre-jump into the double touch, but just barely off target.
Yeah, had a good attempt on the read, but just unfortunately, like you said, off target, went a little wide right, and looking for those midfield possessions and what can translate to a good offensive attack. Northway tried to do just that, but again, a touch going awry and going outside, but they're keeping the ball on this side of the field with a decent amount of boost here. Wavi got a good amount of boost as well as they try to move this back in. Caden's going to pick this back one up, and hopefully they can find something to come into this possession as we hit the halfway point, but a commitment by Caden over in the corner might leave an open opportunity off the post. Is not going to go, and instead a brief sigh of relief with a glimpse of a chance for Northway here, and both teams going back and forth relatively well, but just not finding the shot opportunity until that one happens. Good little connection by Caden and Wavi at the midfield is going to get the nose on the chip over the defender. Goal in the back of the net, and a 2-1 lead for Wabies Wise Wales.
Very, very clever there. I like that play all around, just kind of baiting into the defender. They saw Pablo there by themselves, so Caden just waited until Pablo jumped and then committed as well. Popped it over the last defender and played that rather wisely. This is the Wabies Wise Wales that we know and love, a team that really can be a very capable offense when they need to. Just haven't been able to display it quite yet due to the amount of pressure that they have faced and being locked into their half for quite some time. And speaking of which, Northway trying to do that yet again. Pablo wants another touch, but Wavi will get in the way, but only for the first shot. Aqua will have the follow-up, and despite a beautiful on-the-line save, it's not going to be enough. Or Northway will equalize.
Yeah, Wavi did such a great job to stop the momentum to go towards the post as well, using that boost to get back in and save that ball in the upper 90, but unfortunate, just couldn't get back, reset in time to make the secondary save. A good read, good understanding of where that ball is going to be going from the Northway side to get the shot on, get that goal scored. And this is such a close back and forth series between two great teams with a demo on this one. Gonna carry it on the nose, get the demo in an explosive fashion, get this goal to score a go-ahead for Northway.
Oh, that's just messed up. That is just so unfortunate. You feel like you're finally starting to gain some confidence, and one of the best ways to completely take away that confidence from a team, yeah, demos, bumps, annoying the absolute heck out of them until eventually they crack, and oh my, they do it right on back. Caden threw up a no problem in chat, which I thought meant he might go for something like this, but for him to go the very next play, oh my, we've got quite the contest on our hands.
It even went for the bump, but the overcommit on the defense just left them out of the play entirely. Caden didn't even need to hit the bump. That ball just rolled all the way in. And the understanding from Aqua, recognizing that this is a play Caden's going for, it's going to be very difficult to be able to make that stop and get around Caden and make the save. But at that point, an equalizing goal, 3-3, 90 seconds to play. See what Wavi can do going the other way. Will be deflected by Pablo. Caden takes in the corner. He's going to get the defender to bite. Looking for the second. Pablo's going to miss entirely. Gets juked out. Check those axles because they are broken. Caden puts another goal on the board.
Oh my word, that break check. Pablo just kind of had to sit there and go, oh no, what do I do now? Tries to jump on up and get in the way, but that is not nearly going to be enough. Wavi's Wise Whales putting themselves back on top with just about 80 seconds remaining, and this series has been back and forth so many times so far, so I'm not surprised to see this tense battle with only about a minute left here. But what I am surprised to see is that Wavi's Wise Whales really starting to figure out this defense as well. We were critical of it early, but now they're starting to cut off these options before Northway can even really develop a play. So this is looking like a lot more of a competitive contest than in that first game where we saw a lot of mistakes out of WWW. They've closed a lot of those mistakes down, but can they hold tight when it matters most? Aqua goes up for this one, and due to the body block from Pablo, they've got a clear shot on target, and that ball will hit the back of the net and equal us out yet again.
This is such a give and take back and forth game between these two teams, and exactly like you talked about, WWW does such a good job to just constantly improve as the series progresses, and I think them hitting this point already, where it is such a back and forth between such a great team in Northway, bodes really well for them as to what this series is going to look like. If they're able to walk away with a Game 2 victory, I think it means so much more for them instead of being back against the wall as they get a go-ahead goal again just before the 30-second mark. This is right where WWW wants to be, and they are poised for a Game 2 victory.
They're looking like it, but again, this is really one of these things where they kind of need to win this one. It's A, on their home servers, and B, it's backs against the wall. If Northway win this, they go up onto series point, and you don't want to have to try and reverse sweep against another team that has also won a qualifier here. Like we said, both of these teams, unfortunately, just facing each other in the first round due to the random seeding here. It's just kind of the way that the cookie crumbles sometimes. And, unfortunately for, I was going to say Wavi's Wise Whales, that could mean they give up the late lead here, but somehow, some way, Northway's not going to score. And, oh no, they're going to concede a goal as well. WWW securing themselves game number 2 with a dagger at 1 second. And Northway not going to be happy about giving up that opportunity.
And this is just such a boost to WWW and how they're feeling about this series, but such a detriment to Northway because how they played so well, so confidently. They got a good victory in game number 1, but this time such a scrappy battle back and forth between this one in game number 2. And to put it simply, WWW, as you phrased it, scales in this series. They're just going to be able to get better and better as each game goes on. And the fact they're already matching pace here with Northway, I think means they're now at a threshold where if they're able to come onto EU servers and do better than they did last time and, put up a fight here to take a victory in game number 3, this series is all WWW all the way.
Yep, and it's only series number 1 of the day, and that was only game 2, which we're going to take a look at now with the replays here, brought to you by Microsoft ATL. But again, these are one of these things where it's like, it just kind of seems every single second you give on the pitch for Wavi's Wise Whales, they get stronger and stronger here. They found an early first goal, but it took over 2 minutes to find another one. But here's how they scored. Again, remember, it was this clever passing play in the center. So if they're starting to figure out the rhythm on offense, that's going to be troublesome for Northway. They cannot let this team get confidence, because if they do, they may be in trouble.
And now they got to find out how to get out of trouble, right? Look to get out of timeout here to come into game number 3 in this series, because it's just such a weird turn of events, right? To come in to game number 1 feeling so confident, looking at the highlights, the top 10, like, this is a team that was on 6 or 7 of the top 10 plays that we just showcased at the top of the show. Pablo and Aqua should be feeling on top of the world, right? They're kings of this tournament. They're kings of the Community Open. They should feel totally okay about how they're going into matchup number 1. They get the game 1 victory on their own servers, and then game 2 is such a close back and forth like this. This is a time where they have to find an answer to go back on their servers to rebuild their confidence, get their mojo back, however you want to call it, and put themselves in a position again to take this series, because they know, based off of what we just saw, that go to game 4 back to NA servers, it's not going to get any easier. They can't just rely on winning their own server games. They have to be able to win on both sides of the coin, as we've seen through countless Community Opens. The teams from EU that can win on both sides of the coin typically do pretty well, which is why it's so annoying to watch EU teams constantly come back and just beat NA. Like, please, like, NA, come on, give me something here. But EU teams, for whatever reason, are just good.
Listen, let's just remember back to that Mektos team. It was Mektos and Leaks, I think, back in, I want to say, July or something like that. That team dominated.
Yeah.
That team was absolutely the representatives of NA that we were hoping for here. So, let's see
Right.
if our NA representatives can get it done overseas here in game number 3. We're not cheering for anybody. The only thing we're really cheering for here is a good back and forth. I want to see a game 5, man. We
True.
keep talking about it. We want to see that final game here. See what these two teams have really got at their peak, because that's when we see WWW in their best form, is once they've been given the chance to really warm up and develop their pace of play. Because again, this is only series number 1 of the day. If Wabi's Wise Whales walk away from this one, though, looking as strong as we know they can, they're going to set themselves up for the rest of the day rather beautifully.
Yeah, and to be able to start a series like this, to start an event, going into a competition where you're trying to fight for the better part of a $500 prize pool, and you're playing a team this well, not only just playing them well, but playing a team this good, this well, is a very good sign here for your future of today's competition, because you just know that, well, frankly, the competition is not going to get easier, but if you can match pace with a team like this, then you probably can expect that you can match pace with anybody else in the pool. And I think that's one of the best parts about going into a top 8 like this, is that a lot of these teams are relatively equally matched. And there's a small give and take, a floor and ceiling, as with any other esport competition. There's something to give somewhere. But if you're able to keep pace with your opponents here, I think it just means that you can expect to compete very closely all day long.
Yeah, 100%. I would agree with that 1,000 times over here. And, well, I think we're going to have to figure out which one of those two teams, though, are really going to be able to compete now, because here we go. Game number 3. I think we are just about ready to kick this one off. And again, we are back onto EU servers. Northway are technically on their home servers here, but we have to remind everyone one more time. WWW probably should have taken it on their servers last time. They were, about a minute away? And then all of a sudden, they gave up that lead. So, let's see if maybe this time they can not crack under the pressure. Apparently, it's not them who is going to crack, though. Northway, 6 seconds in, and all of a sudden, Wabi's Wise Whales have the lead.
Yeah, this is a little slower than the last start, about 1/6 slower. So a little disappointing for them that they couldn't get a 1 second goal, right? It's whatever. You can't always just match the pace that you set the last time, but 6 seconds in and getting a goal scored is a pretty good start nonetheless. And the fact that you now just carry this momentum from the last game, like you touched on, momentum's such a huge part of this game. They're carrying over from where they were last time around to go straight to this one, still on their servers, to go back and forth. So we're going a 1-2-2 series matchup, I would think, with 1 on EU, 2 to NA, then 2 to EU at the end. The fact you come back on NA again to strike 6 seconds in and get a go-ahead goal, it's a really good start for Wabi again, but you can't give something up like that.
What happened here? I thought this was a rather easy save. Going back to this one, and no, I guess not. Just a little bit too much firepower behind it, and Caden pushed up a bit too far there. And again, this is where we were critical of Wabi's Wise Whales before. If they got too aggressive, they left their back half rather exposed, and then all of a sudden, Northway would pop in a goal. I think they've done it, 3 or 4 times now throughout this series, and we're only in game 3, so they're going to have to be careful here. Wabi's Wise Whales, by far, the most detrimental part of their gameplay is their over-aggression. If they can find that balance like they did in game 2, they should be fine, but a little bit concerned early here in game number 3, as that first goal was definitely not necessary. And oh boy, how they conceded that one, I probably would have said the same.
Good save there to stop this one, keeping it 1 goal apiece. About a minute and a half into this one now, ball towards midfield, and still kind of waiting to see which team really dominates and asserts themselves at midfield to take control of this possession, because in this series, it's been a lot of back and forth, a lot of give and take. A team wins a possession, they take it the other way. They get a shot on, it gets saved, it gets blocked, it gets deflected, something or another, and then it goes back to the other side to go the other way. There's not a lot of definitive control from one side or the other, and I think that just goes to make a statement still about how much of a back and forth, literally and figuratively, this series is, and how close this one is, as to just waiting for the pickings as to who will step up and take this series and take this game to inevitably move on.
Oh, and it could be Wabi's Wise Whales here if they can find themselves a decent offense. They've been getting into this pressure for quite some time, but notice how we're not really getting extended stays anymore here, Trevor. It just kind of feels like we're going back and forth and back and forth, and really, the only way that someone scores in a scenario like this is a defensive error, and, well, there's the defensive error. Wabi pushes out of net completely unnecessarily here, and you can see he even knows he made a mistake. He brake checks in front of the front post, then does a little bit of a loop around, but by that point, it's a bit too late. Pablo has found possession and has found the second goal.
Yeah, just looking for something to give a little extra spice to it, and you saw, like you said, hit the brake check, flip it in reverse, try to get a backflip, almost made the recovery, but just a tick too late before Pablo's able to take advantage, get the shot on, get that go-ahead goal at the halfway mark. So Northway again taking control of this, and I think that this is, again, with it being on NA servers, if Northway is able to take this one out and go back to EU servers with a 2-1 advantage to put Bobby's team against the wall, this is a really good position for Northway to be in, but we just know how fast either one of these teams can score a goal and strike back to make it all of a sudden from a 2-1 score line to a 2-5. We saw it in game 1.
Yeah, the turnaround here is rather explosive for both these teams, but with only about a minute 50 left, let's see if either one of them can find that explosive punch again. Northway have a 1-goal lead for right now, but that's not enough against a team like Wabi's Wise Wales, and with the demo on the back end here, gonna open up some space. Aqua might try and interrupt out of midfield here, but instead it's Caden high flying coming through and immediately gets a touch, and then the demo as well. Aqua by themselves has got to be careful here. It's a heavy first touch, which they're going to be able to follow up. Wabi will put this one out to the side, and the demo on Aqua is going to open up some space, but again, it's been end-to-end here. Both teams, making their chances with that one. Probably should be in the back of the net. The initial touch was missed. It was a huge defensive error, but Aqua will get the follow-up. What happened to the defense?
You see the commit from Caden trying to go left to right, got bumped out of the way, and it looks like just no potential recovery whatsoever. Just got sent too far out of the box, could not get back in time, and instead left that box wide open there for Aqua to come in and get the shot, get the goal. So an insurance lead now, 60 seconds to play. I mean, yeah, it feels good, but you still can't be too comfortable. You can't get complacent with this one because of just how quickly the tides have turned here in this series. Just make sure you continue to possess the ball and hold on to this one and ensure you take a series lead.
And that's the big thing here, is ensuring this lead, because at this point, we're not done with the series, not by a long shot here. Wabi's Wise Wales are very capable of making this comeback, but I don't think so here in this game, unfortunately. With 41 seconds left, I think they're going to have to say GG, go next, and head into that third game, or excuse me, into that fourth game, my mistake. It's not one of these things where I think this is a completely out of question game. I still think it's possible, but realistically, try not to focus too much energy here. Focus on the next game and how to make the adaptations, because that's what we need to see right now. Wabi's Wise Wales keep going back with the same hyper-aggression, and it's exposed them far too many times.
Yeah, and a double commit right there out of the corner was enough to ensure that they got that fourth goal here. Gonna get one back just under the 30-second mark, so a 4-2 scoreline now. They're not out of the game by any means. I mean, there's still a chance here in 27 seconds that they can score a goal. We've seen them do it in 1 second, so there is certainly still a chance for Wabi's Wise Wales to get the goal scored. They just have to really buckle down on defense and not give up any silly mistakes here to Northway if they want to claw back.
Yeah, that's the big thing here, is that they need to try and play this one as precisely as possible. The big thing is that they're a capable team, and that's sort of why we say that there is a chance they could take down Northway here, but it's about what side of Wabi's Wise Wales do we see. Because like we said, Northway at a plateau, at pretty much their mid-game, might be able to take down Wabi's Wise Wales. Wabi's Wise Wales at their mid-game, I don't think can take down Northway at a mid-game. So it's one of these things. We need to start seeing everybody from both teams really step into form here. In particular, WWW. If they can get into form, there's a chance we see a Game 5. But if they come in this next one just even a little bit lackluster, I think this is Northway finishing it off in 4.
Yeah, and looking to where they started to come into this one, Game 2, Game 3 is really where WWW needed to hit their peak, and we saw that in game number 2. We can take a look at their attempt to recreate the peak here in game number 3 through these replays powered by Microsoft IATL, but it's just a matter of the fact they get an early lead once more, but then they just really can't hold on to the confidence and the momentum throughout the game. They just unfortunately hit a dip, didn't hold on, no diamond hands, whatever analogy you want to use on this one. This was unfortunate that the defense breakdown was enough for Pablo and Aqua to consistently take advantage of. And that's the point we talked about through all the qualifiers as well. The further you get into the bracket and the qualifiers, the less mistakes you're allowed to make, because teams will capitalize 100% of the time on your errors. And that's what we saw Pablo and Aqua do. We saw errors from Wavi and Caden here. Pablo and Aqua stepped up, recognized, and delivered to put goals in the back of the net when the defense made mistakes.
That's the big thing there, is that the mistakes started to really pour down as WWW got more and more nervous there. Like we said, it's one of these things where if they are able to keep their nerves and they're able to stay calm throughout a match, they should be fine. But you can see the catalyst of the downfall there was that first mistake from Wavi. He pushes just a little bit too far out of the net there, leaves his team exposed, and from there on out, it's just shot after shot after shot after shot from Northway that hits the back of the net. And as you also mentioned, it's mainly, I'd say, probably out of the, 5 goals they scored there, 4 goals they scored there, at minimum 3 or 4 of those goals were made just off of defensive mistakes. So here we go, game number 4. Let's see if maybe Wavi's Wise Whale can play a little bit more carefully this time.
Yeah, and I think that's just such a relatively simple fix here for that squad, is to just kind of button down the hatches on the defensive front. Their offense is doing pretty good. We know that they can score early and get advantages and trade back and forth with Northway. But if your defense is doing well, you don't have to trade anymore. Your offense does just fine, as Caden is going to showcase that to take the first goal. Another beautiful pump the brakes are going to fly right by. Caden gets the shot on, gets the go-ahead goal. And once again, WWW strikes first.
Oh my, they strike first yet again here, but the unfortunate truth is that's not going to be enough. We've seen this already. High-scoring games are pretty much the norm between these two, so let's see if Wavi's Wise Whales can at least find themselves a little bit of a safety net. Not so much. Pablo there with the scissors to cut a hole in, but what about the follow-up? Just barely off target. Caden not able to slot that one in, but this is something we haven't seen in quite some time here, Trevor. This is just an overwhelming amount of pressure, and at this point, WWW, oh no, I was going to say, looked like they should inevitably have a second goal, but luckily enough, Wavi sees the pop on out and will retreat for now, but uh-oh, that's an overcommitment. Aqua in a 1v2. Pablo just has to try and get back here. Try to get some pressure to make Caden rush the shot, but Caden's shot was on target. It was just saved by the defense here. And speaking of saved by the defense, sent out to the side is Pablo shot off of Wavi's save. And we go back and forth here again. We were surprised to see Wavi's Wise Whales with that offensive pressure early into this game. As back and forth, a little bit more normal for these two teams.
Yeah, a minute and a half into this game, and as you said, the normality between the back and forth here, no real definitive control of possession. Defense has made a good rotation back. The respawn from the demo is going to come in time to make sure there is no real threat on this attack. They're going to keep possession, though, to maintain this pressure on this side. Look for the save. Aqua's going to make a good challenge in front of the net. We had the player in the goal as well. Pablo was ready for a potential squishy if he had to, if not just to fly out of that one. And again, back down the field we go, and it's just this back and forth to give and take. Only the lone goal scored, though, so Pablo and Aqua taking a little more time here this time to create that offensive pressure that we've seen them answer so well with. The demo this time around is going to leave an opportunity. There's no way Pablo should miss that, but the shot goes high and an opportunity missed for Northway.
I'm speechless. There's no way that shot goes off target into the backboard, and that was about as clear as day. There is no way that goes off target, but apparently it is. As flabbergasted as I might be, there is no time for the jaw to drop. We've got to keep going with the action, because with half of the game remaining here, there is still technically a chance for Northway to come back, but I don't know, man. If they can't score that, I'm not sure what they're going to be able to score. That was, like we said, about as open as ever. This one should be as well. Caden, no one's going to contest him, though. Pablo should have been there from the follow-up, but instead it's an overcommitment, and now Pablo has to be the solo player on the back end to deny this offense. But we were saying this earlier. Wavi's Wise Whale were the team that we were critical of because it looked like they were panicking and a little bit too nervous here. I'm going to take it back. It's now Northway. They look incredibly chaotic here. That organization we were so complimentary of before, it's gone out the window.
It's just complete reactive and just follow the ball, chase it down, and see what happens. Get the touch on. There's real no Doesn't seem like there's any real plan with what they want to do. Pablo's going to make a save there to make sure they don't go down 2-0 in this one. Coming up 90 seconds to play, but they got to find a way to get an answer. A full commit, the other side is going to leave this open. That ball, fortunately, goes just wide for Northway, but now a regret on this one. Wavi's got to be able to get the shot, get the defender to bite, and get that insurance goal. 10 ticks later, a 2-0 lead for WWW.
They're just accentuating this nervousness there. Look at that. They see Pablo jump early, know that the early challenge is arriving, so just face it bottom right. WWW have got this game on lock here, and with about 70 seconds left, it'd be surprising to see them throw away this lead, but if any team's going to make a comeback here, it's going to be Northway. They still seem a little bit quiet in comparison to the usual offense that they output here, so maybe they can wake up here. Maybe they can come out screaming and finish off this game with at least a little bit of a confidence booster, because it really does feel like they need it at this point. This was definitely not the outcome that we were expecting. We were hoping that Wavi's Wise Whales would force us a Game 5, but we did not expect a one-sided affair, considering how close this had been the whole time.
Yeah. I think that is a statement as to what Wavi's Wise Whales has done here in this game, is because of how close it has been this whole series. And don't get me wrong, Northway's still getting the opportunities. They're still having the chances to put an offensive possession together, but they just cannot finish. Pablo's had an opportunity to miss a wide open net once. Is not going to do it twice. As close as that was, flirting with disaster, Pablo does put a point on the board. So now the deficit falls to 1, under 30 to play, though, and Northway's got to find a way to very quickly put something together to tie this game.
I thought that one was off target. I'm not even going to front. I really
Honestly,
did think that ball. I didn't think it was going in, and I was rather scared that Pablo was about to tilt himself out of the series with that one, because you miss your second open net in a row. At that point, you got to be questioning everything you've ever done in Rocket League there. Where did my shooting go wrong? What happened to my shot? The good thing is, they're not there quite yet. 10 seconds left here, and I don't know if Northway are going to be able to find themselves that second goal that they're looking for, but they've at least broken that momentum that has been... no way. Please tell me no.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I thought we were going to overtime. Northway not quite able to slot in that last shot. Instead, we go to Game 5. Yeah, that's about how close that one was from going in.
They missed it by that much. That shot, that's just the same as Pablo's shot off the backboard. I mean, that's an open net. All you got to do is put a little more air underneath it. Pablo had to take a little less air out of it. Maybe that's just the comparison. They're overcompensating once, didn't quite compensate enough the second time. Take a look at the replays here from that game. That Northway was just so close to winning. They got that close twice over to score a goal, which would have made it that 2-2, potentially 3-2 scoreline come the end of it. But you look at WWW, and they found their rhythm, they found their groove, and to tie this one, to bring it down to this final game, you got to think momentum's on their side, and they got to be feeling pretty good about their approach to this Game 5.
I'd have to imagine so, and if I were them, I probably would be. But again, it's one of these things where I also really do want to... All right, let's look back at this one. This is the goal, right? Look how close that shot was to off target. So I gotta hope that Pablo and the rest of Northway have not tilted themselves out of this series, because, again, the organization of the team just doesn't look like it's there. The shot power doesn't look like it's quite there yet. So it's one of these things where I'm feeling like the nerves are really starting to affect them. Those usual confident rotations we see out of the team have started to dissipate, and it's making this look really viable for WWW, who, like we said, the longer they stay in a series, the better they get. So they're at Game 5 now. Theoretically, they should be at their peak, and if this is their peak, I don't know if Northway is going to be able to handle them.
And the fact that they started to understand the flow and the rhythm of what they needed to do in this series in game number 2. I mean, there was already such a great start to know what had to happen. My concern for how WWW was going to approach this one was they would hit that point in like game 3, pushing game 4, and that'd be too little too late to save the series. But the fact that they did it in game number 2 makes it completely viable that they're able to carry through into this one to make sure that they hit this peak, to put them in position like this. Big, the all chat, don't worry, we got late game, we scale, however you want to phrase it. They're doing just that as we head to game number 5 to face off this opening series that you couldn't ask for anything better between two phenomenal teams. And we're already down to game 5.
I can't believe that. This is everything we were hoping for here. I was hoping for at least one Game 5 throughout the day. the fact we get it in series number 1, everything we could have hoped for here. Fantastic play out of both teams so far, but here we go. Game 5, all is on the line here. Winner of this one moves on. The loser goes home, and like we said, just a little bit of an unfortunate pairing here today. Both these teams won qualifiers throughout this month, but with random seeding, you can't quite rely on just winning a qualifier to give you a good shot. You need a battle when it counts most, and that's what these two teams are doing right now. Pablo, though, the readjustment, there is no way! He got bumped midair and then readjusted into a flip reset. What on earth is this?
This is pure, unadulterated talent. To be able to have that control, to take that one out of the air, like you said, getting bumped and have the ability to recover from that, not only to get back on the ball, but to get the flip reset and have the shot on target. I mean, last game, the question mark was, did Pablo lose his touch? I mean, is that it? Like, you know, 2 shots that were off key by just a fraction of an inch on the screen, and then Pablo does that in game 5? We didn't lose it. We just pushed it back a game.
Yeah, they not only pushed it back a game, but now they're starting to push it back into the Wobbies Wise Whales half as well, and that's another double commit. Wobbies Wise Whales have got to be careful here. It feels like once the panic sets in for the team, it really sets in here. With a minute gone and already a 2-goal deficit, they can't afford to keep staying panicked. What is happening here? Fake out of midfield, and oh my word, another double commit out of Wobbies Wise Whales. They might be able to move out of the half, but this team looks far too disjointed to take a win. They almost do find their first shot, but that first goal has got to be a catalyst. If they can't turn around and just start to play with an adjusted offense here, this is going to be a game that is over before it starts.
Yeah, the fact they're able to get 2 early goals because Wavi's squad has been the team that's always taken an early lead and taken early control of this one. And then we see Northway trade those goals back to be able to get back into the game. We see Northway take advantage of this one and grab momentum early. I think says a lot more for them as to how they are approaching game number 5. Feeling a lot better about this one and just saying, you know what, this is it. It's the end-all be-all. Leave nothing on the line. There's nothing to hold back. Got to send it all the way because there is no game 6. So you might as well just go ahead, full send it, take the lead. Why not make it 3?
Oh, but that's not a good advice for Wobbies Wise Wales, unfortunately. It might be working out for Northway, but challenges out of midfield like that, where you pull a full 180 as the last defender, not necessarily my advice to you guys right now. Wobbies Wise Wales, we've said you guys look strongest when you play an all-around type of game. It is not just offense, it is not just defense, it's a combination of both that allows you guys to thrive. But you also need to start putting shots on target. I think that's the second one that has rang off the backboard here, and considering the amount of shots being taken, something's got to hit the back of the net. They need that catalyst, like we said. Just one good goal is all that it'll take, and finally they find it. Wobbies Wise Wales cuts the lead down to 2 with just about half the game remaining.
That's a great challenge from Caden right there, just past midfield, and a good recovery from Wavi to hit the ball off the backboard. And then a tertiary recovery from Caden to be able to come back off the initial bump, off the initial 50, and put the shot on the back while the defense is still floundering from their commit to make that 50 that they ended up losing. So you're able to get one back, make it a 3-1 right now. That's the goal that WWW desperately needed if they want to stay in this, but they give up another on the other side immediately. Make this a 4-1 now. This is all Northway right now. And WWW's just got to be scrapping to find something on offense and really buckle down this defense once more.
Apparently it is. This is exactly what it's... I don't really know what's going on. You talk about scrappy. That's all that's happening right now for Wobbies Wise Wales. What on earth was Caden even doing there? He chased the ball halfway down the field and never really readjusted his position to, well, get in position there. So Wobbies Wise Wales, unfortunately, the panic really has set in for this team, and because they don't necessarily have a foolproof plan on how to get into offense here, they're kind of just throwing everything at them and seeing what sticks, and unfortunately, when you do that, you kind of show all the cards up your sleeve rather early. So 3 minutes into this game, and Wobbies Wise Wales have thrown everything on the table. The question is are they going to win a hand with it? Because it doesn't look like it. They try another attempt here, but notice again, it's Caden immediately comes diving in from midfield there, and they've got to start locking down this midfield presence rather than these last-second challenges, because all that it's doing is leaving them exposed, and with 90 seconds left, they can't afford that.
And it's been like that almost the entire series, where it's just a lot of give and take at midfield. There hasn't been any real control by any team to assert themselves to make sure that the midfield possession traverses into an offensive zone to give them an opportunity going the other way. It's just been a lot of that give and take and just see what happens at the midfield and give each team an opportunity. And the fact that WWW is allowing that to happen, they're feeling comfortable just watching Northway take possession and go end to end, a double commit on the other side. Pablo's just got to get the nose on and send that in. And Akko with the GGs in the chat. I mean, the way the score is looking right now, it would be a miracle for WWW to come back into this one. But Northway really, again, taking advantage of defensive mistakes and miscues to give them a commanding position in this game.
Yep, they're just taking advantage of the miscues. Like you said, it's taking advantage of the little mistakes on the back end and emphasizing those enough that eventually a team cracks. And that's what we're seeing here. It really has just been a complete dismantling of Wabi's Wise Whales. And as much as the WWW team have tried to get back into this one, it's just those fake out at midfields, the recognizing of the fact that it's just over-aggression. If you have a team who's going to commit on everything, at some point, Caribou, you start faking them out and forcing them into those overexposures. And, well, here's the results. 6-1 with 50 seconds left. I think Northway might just be moving to the next round.
Certainly it would look that way, as it's just going to be all she wrote here in this one. They got to get one back. Caden's going to take this, make it a 6-2 scoreline for the time being. 39 seconds to play. Still going to be, down a lot more than they really want to be. And I think that this scoreline right now, it doesn't showcase how close this series was, but it does showcase how volatile the defense of Wabi's Wise Whales was, in the sense that they just were not playing consistently enough. Northway, like I said, just has to hit a plateau of their play where they don't have to be incredibly impressive. They don't have to be the greatest Rocket League team to ever grace the pitch. They have to just hit a peak and just stay there for the duration of the series, and they should be able to not only compete, but come out with a series victory. And the fact that they took it to Game 5, Wabi's Wise Whales should be proud of that. But this is just Northway hitting that plateau, playing the gameplay that they needed, taking control of this series, and when it came down to it in game number 5, they took care of business and got the job done.
100%. That's exactly what it was here. It's just seeing those inconsistencies, accentuating them tenfold, and really punishing every single time. And that's what Northway did, man. They did exactly as you said. They found a decent position, kept at that level the entire way through, and never really fluctuated. We saw a couple of gaps in that, I'd say, productiveness. Probably in games 2 and 3, it seemed a little bit less, of a full team from Northway there. But once they found that flow, it really was something that they just kind of stuck to. And as we look back upon the replays of this entire series powered by Microsoft ATL, we can see exactly how they really did control that series, because this flow, once they found it, it never really left.
Yeah, and there was something that you could rely on from the other side. Wabi's Wise Whales almost always, there's like one game that they didn't score first. They would get the early point on the board to kind of try to set the pace and put themselves in a controlling position of the series. But the problem with it is that there was a lot of trade-offs in between. It was a lot of one-for-ones that they ended up ultimately losing. You'd see by the scoreline, it's a 3-2 series, that they would lose those trade-offs. But I think if they're able to buckle down a little more on defense and control that, as we saw in the games that they did win, their defense played really well. They took a lot of those advantages from Pablo and Aqua away. I think there was obviously the game that Pablo had the 2 open opportunities that missed by ever so slightly, just a few pixels. I think you can chalk that loss to a lack of execution from Pablo and Aqua. But otherwise, for the other 4 minutes, 56 seconds of that game, and the other 5 minutes of the other game that they won, Wabi's Wise Whales played really good on defense. They got everything that they needed done to be able to put themselves in a position to take control, to take those games, and give them that confidence that, this is something we can do regardless of server that we're playing on. And they came that close to it, but when it came down to game number 5, it just seemed like every little tiny problem that they had over the series just got magnified 3-4 times over, and Pablo and Aqua took advantage of that.
And that's why we mentioned the nerves so many times over here, is that when you have $500 on the line, a tournament which has been literally a month in the making, at a certain point, you're going to start to feel the pressure. You're going to recognize the situation that you are in, and certain players might be able to stand up to that test of time. Certain players, lesser so. And apparently, that's what it was here for WWW. They did not play poorly by any stretch of the imagination. They played pretty well, but the unfortunate truth is that their double commits and over-aggression on defense really did leave them exposed. And against the teams that we have here at the end of the month, you just cannot afford that. They are all far too capable, and if you make mistakes, someone's going to emphasize poke and prod until they find that gap in the defense and then just completely dismantle you. So it's what we found there, Caribou. It's an unfortunate result for Wavi's Wise Whales, but again, we've seen them improve every time that they come back here to the Atlanta Community Open. So hey, maybe next month they can return and play just as strongly as they did this month, but find some consistency when it matters most. But that's all theoreticals. We're going to have to find out. That being said, we do know what our next match is at minimum here, and this is one, to put it simply, I am excited for. It is Kleinkind Army versus the Night Garden G's, and Trevor, we've been waiting for this matchup for quite some time.
It's been a hot minute. It's been a long time coming. The Kleinkind Army, consisting of Sneaky and Kyu, against the Night Garden G's, a team that we've seen. I mean, we've seen Sneaky forever, and as we give credit to the greatest recruiter in the Community Open history, I mean, looking at all of the +1s that they brought in, and then facing off against Kemi and Storms, looking at the duo that we saw, Pablo and Aqua, in that top 10, Kemi and Storms just as frequent in all of our top 10 segments that we've had across the Community Open. So 4 very capable playmakers coming into this one. Looking forward to an exciting matchup. That's our first semifinal match. And to put it simply, this is going to be a match probably worthy of being a finals match. Like, it's, I think, a little offensive to say this is a semifinal, but then you look at the top 8 and how good all 8 of these teams are. Yeah, they're all probably finals worthy matches, but this one is just so good and so close. I don't even know who are you taking? Who would you favor in this game? Because I literally can't even. My brain cannot even.
So what I want to take a look at here is I want to try and remember what the previous results were for these two teams. Because again, they've matched up in qualifiers before here. And if I'm not mistaken, I want to say that the Night Garden G's won last time that they faced against the Kleinkind Army. Now, that is not a guarantee. It really isn't by any stretch of the imagination. But the other reason that I might give this just to Night Garden G's here beyond anything else is the fact that they just beat Grupo Terricola to get here. This is a team, historically, almost no one has been able to beat. A couple of wins here and there throughout this season, but a team that had not been able to beat them previously was the Night Garden G's. The fact that they are on point, the fact they start off their day taking down what could be the favorites to win this all, I think I would be mistaken if I bet against them at this point.
You have a series scoreline you're predicting? I mean, I took the 3-1 in the last one. I missed it by that much. You got to...
All right, okay, series scoreline here. I say Night Garden G's take this in 5, though. I think that at this point, we're getting to the point where every team has come with their A game, and if you're not prepared to go the distance of a series, you're going to get caught off guard, and someone's just going to kind of stomp you early in the series. So if we see Kleinkind Army playing to the degree that we know they can, which I would imagine so, considering they just took down Fergem in the first series, then I think that Night Garden G's are going to have a battle ahead of them, but it's a battle they win in 5.
Okay. I hear you. I'm listening. But God, I really don't want to go against the Night Garden G's, but I'm going to do it. Kleinkind Army, I think, are going to get the job done. I think it's going to go the other way in 5. I agree. I think this is another full 5-game set. We're going to get spoiled. We're going to go straight into our first semifinal matchup here for the finals. Kleinkind Army and the Night Garden G's facing off. We went the other way. But we got 5 games ahead of us, we think.
We hope, let's see. Well, we're gonna find out immediately which team is prepared, though, as Kleinkind Army find themselves a goal already. Not even 20 seconds into this one off of a sneaky, disgusting dunk out at midfield, and maybe I might have chosen wrong here. If KKA are coming out the gates firing like that, we've got a battle on our hands.
Sneaky's just one of those players that you just never know what he is up to, but he's able to get that one, the dunk at midfield, nice little bounce over the top and get that one a friendly little bounce across the field to get the shot on goal scored 15 seconds in. But now it's just a matter of how are we going to see this long play develop out of these two teams? Are we going to see a little slower, a little more decisive? We're going to see a bump on the defense to try to get an opportunity for a shot to score, but instead the bump goes wide and the ball will go the other way. I'm very excited to see the strategies coming into this one, knowing how capable both of these teams are and how they're going to adapt as this series progresses.
This is, I was going to say, going to be a game that should develop itself the further we get into it, but that doesn't necessarily mean I would expect a goal like this to make it in. Sneaky, beautiful touch there, but I expected Pig to at least, I don't know, do it, turn around, something to try and get in the way. No such luck, and Kleinkind Army find themselves up by 2 here with only a minute gone, and no way, don't tell me they go up by 3. No, not quite. Sneaky will be denied by Kemi, but this, to put it simply, is not the start I was expecting out of the Night Guard and G's.
Yeah, it's such a good start here from the KKA, and yeah, Night Guard and G's just looking a little flat-footed, like they're just not quite ready, not quite prepared, both in the sense of the game and also just kind of showcased by that failed save from Storms, you know, in front of the net, and, you know, hit the oops in chat like it's, yeah, that's my bad. I recognize the issue. I just wasn't quite ready, wasn't quite expecting that. And that might be applicable here to the opening minute of this one. Make it minute and a half now as Q's going to get a third goal on the board. 100 seconds into this game and a 3-goal lead over the Night Guard and G's. This is looking a lot more one-sided than I was expecting to open this series.
100%. I mean, we both said, you know, this was basically a coin toss. You could barely pick a prediction. I could barely take a prediction in under 5 games. And, well, finally we do see a little bit of life here in the Night Guard and G's. But, again, it's just one of these things where it should have taken them this long to find a goal. And in addition to that, it's not even a goal which I feel like they earned. It's just a kickoff went awry for KKA, and they took advantage. That's kind of standard for Rocket League. So, Night Guard and G's, come on, show us what you are made of. We know this team has pop-off potential. We've seen it so many times before. Now it's just time to display it, because double commitments like that have left you exposed. And, oh no, Kemi pushed up a bit too far here. Desperation touch off the backboard, but luckily enough for them, another shot will not rain through. But Night Guard and G's just looking disorganized right now.
Yeah, just got to find that level of organization. Sneaky's trying to force that one in, but both of the defenders in position. That shot's going to go wide, but Storm's going to get the putback following the demo. The defense all caught chasing, so they're going to get one back there. And a very good transition counterattack here from Kemi to get a shot on. Unfortunately, just wide, but that's okay because your teammate's on the follow to get another goal on. So this organization aside, they're only down a goal coming up on the halfway point. And you got to think that for better, for worse, you could be in a worse position. This isn't how you wanted to get to this scoreline, but you're still well within fighting range of this game.
100%. They are still very capable at making this comeback here. But again, it just kind of feels like they're starting to find their form, but maybe not necessarily at the most opportune time there. Not exactly sure what the plan was there at Akemi, as they just kind of go cross court and waste a lot of boost in doing so. And, well, now here comes Sneaky the other way. He'll put a shot on target, which will be saved, but right back to another offense for KKA, and I can't help but feel that part of that is due to the fact that Night Guard and G's just didn't really take that offense all that seriously, playing a little bit too haphazardly here, and with only about 2 minutes remaining, they cannot afford to do so. They need to take every single one of these possessions extremely seriously, and ooh, here's what happens when you can do so. Good demo in front of the net. This will open up some space. Kemi, though, will not go for the follow-up. They'll let Sneaky send this one into their half, and Night Guard and G's willing to restart their offense, but not so sure if it was the wisest decision. We've seen KKA get up in their face and not give them the room multiple times here, and even though a shot will go on, Caillou, not sure how to pronounce it, will make the save either way. But KKA at this point, they really do seem to have control over the pace of play right now. They understand exactly everything that Night Guard and G's are throwing at them, and as great as the G's offense is starting to become, it's still not surprising KKA whatsoever.
Yeah, and the fact that we've gone this long now without a goal either way, good shots, good saves, the defense standing up strong on both sides for these opportunities taken, and good challenges at the midfield to not give anything more, but KKA in their position after going up 3, not getting anything more than that, I think says good things for the Night Guard and G's defense, but also is looking for what the KKA offense can try to do to try to find some more leeway on this. A double demo on this one. You see a respawn coming through. They're going for a little more aggressive and a little more physical play style to try to open up the defense on this side. And the answer's going to be right back the other way with the demo from Storms. Ball bouncing around midfield here. No one really taking full control of this to look for an opportunity, to look for a counterattack, but the ball in Sneaky's hands in the air is always dangerous.
Ooh, it's been a dangerous back and forth here. Both teams really coming close to finding another one and opening up this score line and really finding a little bit extra momentum in their favor here because, yes, Night Garden G's have had to play a comeback game, but it still doesn't necessarily feel like they are in favor right now. The momentum is rather at a stalemate here. They can find a goal before the end of regulation and force an overtime. There is a chance, but there's also a chance now, I was going to say, for KKA to get some momentum in their favor. Not if this one goes the other way. KKA will spike this on down. And despite a little bit of a stalemate for the back half of that game there, Kleinheim Army still take the win, and it may not have been as dominant as we initially thought there, Caribou, but it's an impressive win nonetheless.
Hey, regardless of how the job gets done, as long as it walks away with a W, that's all you could ask for. We take a look at the replays to see, watching that first half, like you said, it was just such a good start to this one, but then that second half, a little bit of a stalemate, it really slowed down. The defenses kind of stood up and were put themselves in a position that it was just really solid defensive play, good back and forth from both of these squads that left it at that 3-2. I think it's a good sign from the Night Garden G's as to how they were able to fight back on that one, being down 3-0 to get the 2 unanswered to make that such a close game. But then 2.5 minutes of stagnation where nothing developed on either side. It was just a lot of watching the ball bounce around, some good shots, some good defensive stance. Beyond that, really nothing happened for 2.5 minutes, and that's something that you can't allow to go into competition. You've got to be able to find something to make that defense break down, to make the offense make a mistake, make an overcommitment. Something's got to change if you want to find that third goal and put yourself in a position to walk away with that game, because sure, 2 unanswered to come back to make it close is cool, but you still lost.
It's not really going to change the outcome at the end of the day there. And yeah, like you also mentioned, we really had so much time. Looking at the clock for that one, 5th goal scored, so that 3-2 scoreline arrived at 2:46 left. That is over half the game. There is plenty of time for literally either one of those two teams to score here. So let's see if someone can maybe take a little bit more of, I'm not going to say a commanding lead, but just sort of an overarching command of the pace of play here, because I feel like no one has really been able to do that yet. The edge for either side has been somewhat dulled here, and we're just waiting to see it get sharp again. Maybe the Night Garden G's can do that if they can find an early goal here, but a little bit of an overcommitment from Storm is going to leave Kemi in an awkward position. But here's something we haven't seen in quite some time. A midfield presence developing for the Night Garden G's, but maybe not communicated effectively enough. Storm put a great pass out to the side for Kemi to follow, but he just never really committed on that one. So unfortunately, Night Garden G's do find the first offense of this game, but it is very short-lived, and when they go back to it on the next one, Caillou, or Q, going to be very capable and very prepared.
And this is just watching two teams in a stalemate, just waiting to see who's going to take advantage, because as you said, 2:46 was the last goal we saw scored in that last game, and now we're a minute into this one, so we're coming up on 4 minutes of gameplay without a single goal scored from either of these teams, where it started out being 5 goals in a minute and some change. Like, it was such a close and great start offensively for both of these teams that both just decided, yeah, we're good. That's enough offense for the rest of this game, and we'll see how long we can carry it into the second game. And I think that the way it's playing, it's not just like it's a cold streak for either one. It's just a matter of content from either one of them. Like, they're just okay with the fact that it's going to be a low-scoring affair. They don't have to do anything super crazy, super special, but when they do, Caillou's going to be able to get a chip over the top, nice little side flip, and get the defender to bite to get that first goal. Minute and a half into it, we finally get our first goal.
Whew, it's a spectacular one at that. The solo play we see there, just a nice little 1-2 punch, pops it off the wall, recatches that one, and what I love about that is it's the bounce dribble. You don't always see that. A bounce dribble is a little bit different. Keep it on top of your car so that way you can pop it off and get power no matter what. Doesn't need to be a flick. It can be a hit. It can be whatever you want. And although it was a flick at the end of the day, it just goes to show you, Kleinheim Army are finding that rhythm. And Night Garden G's, you guys might have unfortunately missed your opportunity. You gave confidence to a team that did not need any extra.
Yeah, they just gave him too much time to just sit around and kind of wait to see what the play was going to be, what their advantage they were going to take was. And they see Caillou here getting 2 goals pretty quickly in succession to give them this 2-0 lead. Like you said, Night Guard and Cheese, little potential asterisk of concern might be popping up here now because of what they've given KKA and how they want to take this game. 2 minutes and some change here to go. Coming up on the halfway point. Another shot on. Caillou's going to be able to get that one denied by Storms. They're coming up in the aerial challenge. Sneaky's going to take this. And I think that this is where we should see a player like Sneaky, who we know is so capable, who showcased those aerial skills and the ability to have that good control in game number 1, just been a virtual non-factor in this one, as looking to see what they need to do to make adjustments to see Sneaky and that aerial prowess come online.
I mean, at this point, it may just be that they're kind of just holding it in their back pocket until the right moment there. We mentioned this before. Sometimes if you lay all of your cards on the table, it can be a little bit detrimental as the other team starts to get prepared. So Sneaky might just be trying to play this one a little bit coy until eventually he has to try and start playing with some of that more mechanical prowess. Because, like you said, we're used to this player playing with a lot of mechanical prowess. So to see them somewhat muted here in game number 2, a bit surprising. But it makes more sense when you recognize that so far here, Night Guard and G's in 3 minutes of play have not been able to score a single goal. Matter of fact, it's actually been almost an entire full game here. The last goal they scored was at 2:46 in the last game, and we've gone by that time by this point. So they haven't scored in almost about 5 minutes of play here. It just kind of feels like KKA found that momentum after the win in game number 1, and Night Guard and G's have not been able to find any of their own in, well, quite some time.
Yeah, and it's just going to be curious to see what they can finally do. Kemi's going to be able to get their shot, get their goal scored, so they're going to be able to break this goose egg here finally and make it a 2-1 scoreline under a minute and a half to play. But now, as we've seen with Sneaky, knowing the mechanical prowess on that side, Kemi and Storms, a duo that is notorious for having such great synergy and great passing plays and good communication and just the great wombo combo that they offer. And we haven't seen any of that. Kemi here with the solo play is going to be able to make this one a 2-2 scoreline. Great patience off the kickoff from Kemi to tie this game up.
You're telling me that we're tied up? It feels like I don't know, maybe I missed something, but like 10 seconds ago, were we not at a 2-0 scoreline where KKA were up by 2? What is happening right now? KKA, the minute I compliment you guys and say that it seems like they have figured out a game plan here, they crumble at the seams there, completely splitting apart, almost giving up another goal as well, and they will indeed. 3-2 here. Night Guard and G's make the comeback happen, and I'm baffled.
Hey, you remember that time, like, way long ago in this game, where you were like, it's been 5 minutes since this team scored a goal? And now they scored 3 in the last 20 seconds? Like, I don't know where this has been or where this came from, but Kemi just must have heard you and decided, oh, wait a minute. We're supposed to play offense to win games? Oh, my bad. Okay. Yeah, I got this. No problem whatsoever. Put up 3 on the board. Totally fine. Yeah, we'll take the lead. Now they just got to be able to hold on to it for the last 45 seconds. And what a momentum shift this has been for not only this game, but potentially the series, because that was just a swing out of nowhere.
I'm flabbergasted. I don't know what to say here, because here comes a 4th goal as well. Now, what happened? I don't know. Here's the more confusing part here, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this one, Caribou. I can't tell if this is the Night Guard and G's stepping up when it counts most, or this is Klein Kind Army just falling apart at this point, because it doesn't feel like KKA have started to do anything different. It doesn't feel like they're overly aggressive now, or they're underly aggressive, or too defensive, or whatever. It just feels like all of a sudden, Night Guard and G's found out how to score and haven't stopped.
Yeah, I think that you're right on the money with that. KKA just does not feel like they've changed anything. And, you know, for such a quick turnaround from the Night Guard and G's, it's such a hard thing to do, to adapt that quickly to all of a sudden an offense that just exploded for 4 goals in 80 seconds. I mean, that's such a difficult thing to adjust to and make a move to on your defensive front to be able to say, okay, we have to stop this. I don't know what just happened, but we have to stop this 30 seconds ago. And unfortunately, that never happened. That conversation never came through because We saw them give up another couple of goals through that one. I don't think that Sneaky and Caillou did anything wrong per se. I think I will give credit on the other side to Kemi and Storms, who just somehow something in their minds just clicked where they're like, okay, I know what's happening on the other side now. I know how to get around this one. As we said, with their synergy, this duo has played together countless times in these events. It was just a matter of time before they got on the same page, put 2 and 2 together, and ended up with 4 goals scored.
4 goals scored in quite a quick succession as well. And as we look back upon the replays here of game number 2 powered by Microsoft ATL, maybe we can pinpoint this a little bit more, because I want to see the first 2 goals and then the back 4, because there's got to be something we're missing at this point. So first goal, standard flick in from Q. That's a nice one. I'll give it to them on that. And I know that the next goal was pretty nice as well. But it's every goal after that we're going to have some question marks for, Trevor.
Yeah, and that's a good challenge again. Caillou just did a great job with those initial 2 goals. A little bit of a double commit here. Okay, so defensive mistake on that one. That's going to be on the other side for them as to what happened on that. The kickoff just didn't quite go. A little overcommitment on the defensive front. Left it open for Kemi. Give the opportunity there. So Chuck, the first one, full defense. The second one, see 2 players on the corner. A little slow on the rotation back. Sneaky makes the save, but there isn't as slow on the rotation from Caillou again. So the defense just seeming little slower than what they probably need to be or what they're expecting. Another double commit there on that side. So yeah, just defense failures as to what that chalks up to.
We're going to have to find out if they can switch that up here. We do have game number 3 underway, and wait a minute, is that 1-0? Are you telling me that KKA have already scored a goal here? This series, man, it's got a bunch of question marks on it, but I don't think I complain. This is just tugging on my heartstrings. The only thing that I think is going to complain is going to be my doctor. When they're confused next time I have a checkup and they go, what happened? You've aged 12 years in 3 months.
Surprise. Sorry. That's just the drama and the stress of Rocket League, baby. That's showbiz. But 17 seconds and they got the first goal already. I mean, that's a good start for KKA. And curious, what's going to happen? What a redirect from Kemi. Hello? Pinpoint accuracy off the pass from Storms?
Oh my. What a shot out of the Night Garden, jeez. And I don't know what it is, man. Maybe this is just what they like doing. They like playing with just this reserved attitude. They look like a normal Rocket League team, just standard as heck throughout their entire play. And then just for like 5 to 7 second bursts, they just go, here's where we're the best on the planet. And that's another one of them there. What on earth was that? That shot was unreal. It's a heck of a way to even out a series, or excuse me, even out a game, but they're going to need at least a little bit more than that. With over 4 minutes of play on the pitch still here left, I don't want to ever call it for either one of these teams. The amount of late game comebacks we have seen, just can't believe it.
Yeah, and looking at an update across the board as we see Sneaky puts one on the board as well. Northway is up 2-0 right now over MSU in their series currently, but to give credit where credit's due, I mean, Sneaky just takes advantage there on the other side, but watching what Night Guard and G's can do, 5 to 7 seconds at a time, they just got to do that like 4 or 5 times a game. But that pass, that ball was moving. Like, that was not a slow pass by any means. That ball was moving, and it was still completely on target, perfect accuracy, defensive double commit right there. We've seen the dangers of that in those highlight reels that we just watched from that last game, but fortunately that ball is cleared out far enough that it does not get a second opportunity for a shot on. But you know that there is just a super subtle weakness in the KKA defense. It might be something that Night Guard and G's can capitalize on if they don't want to do 5 to 7 seconds to superstardom.
And that's the big thing here, is if they don't want to here. And how much of that is really up to them at this point here? Because it kind of just feels like that's the only opportunity that's being given. Never mind, they're giving a freebie there. I have to wonder what just happened here. Was there some sort of pressure? Yeah, okay, that's what it was. Storm's just chasing the defense there. Makes some free jump, and Sneaky can't quite make a save. All right, my brain can be at ease for at least a second there. That makes a lot more sense in my mind now.
Just Mr. President, pave the way, clear the road, whatever you got to do. And Sneaky, like you said, the pre-jump right there just gets him out of position enough. Hoping to get back to the ground in time to recover, but just cannot do so. So another equalizer here coming up on the halfway mark. And We've seen this episode before where it's a close game up to the halfway point, and now waiting for our third goal, which should be coming any second now, and then we'll see 2.5 minutes of, well, not a lot more.
Not a lot yet here. I think that we're probably going to go back to another stalemate here. And oh, wait a minute, that could break here. Q with a good demo or a good bump. Wait, who got demoed there? Did Kemi get the demo on someone? I thought that maybe Sneaky had gotten the demo and exposed the defense, but apparently not. Chaos has reigned supreme here, so that's probably my mistake on trying to read anything that's going on right now. Too much chaos on both halves of the pitch, and may be beneficial to Kleinkind Army, though. They've got an offense together here, but for how long? This one's sent back out to midfield where Kemi is waiting, and so is Storms. But a heavy touch into the corner is going to mean that Storms has to retreat for now. But for how long? This one off the backboard. Someone there for the shot. No, good pop on out here. And again, we're not surprised by the stalemate, but we're just trying to see what might break it here. Both teams throwing everything at each other, and Sneaky trying to throw a couple of mind games in here as well. Not quite able to get past the defense with them, but I like the creativity here. If it's been a stalemate and neither team has really found an easy way to break through, it's time to get creative and look for a different way to punch your ticket in.
They got to find something to make the way to get in, and Kayu's going to do just that. Following an explosion there on the defensive front at midfield, and great control. Kemi's going to be able to completely be taken out of this play. Kayu just has to take this one in. Kemi not even on screen, hadn't even respawned yet, so just capitalizing on the outnumber right there, the advantage to go the other way. A 3-2 scoreline now for KKA over the Night Garden G's, and as slow as the last minute and a half has been, you can imagine that it's going to take a little bit more for either side to put up another point on the board. But crazier things have happened where all of a sudden we'll just see a quick burst of 3 or 4 goals from both of these teams.
Yeah, really wouldn't be surprised if we end up with like a 7-6 scoreline here at the end of this game. We've got only a minute left, but feels like with these two squads, anything is possible. So let's see what the outcome is at the end of this one. For right now, KKA might have the lead, but we've seen this before. Night Garden G's can take that and turn it around in the blink of an eye. So maybe they can do that right here. Good carry across. Storms has got time and space and a flip reset. But Q going to make a very nice save and just kind of waste time here and send it the other way. And that might be the best pass I've ever seen, ever. This is beautiful. Look how cleanly he takes this off the wall and sticks it to their car. The only time that ball leaves Q's car is when it's a sneaky shot. Beautifully played, and KKA will take a 2-goal lead.
Yeah, just put that one in full embrace. Caillou just able to hold on to that, pick up that back boost, and just carried it from A to B until Sneaky said, "Thank you very much. I will take this delivery. No signature required. Put it into the back of the net and just make sure that that is an insurance goal now. Under 20 to play here. Night Guard G's have to find some sort of answer, but such a clutch performance from the likes of Q and Sneaky both to get that goal scored, to put them in this chance now to go up 2-1 in this series, to put Night Guard G's backs against the wall. And as slow as these games have been, you just never know at any given time when one team will explode. Kemi with a shot there almost to make it a single goal here, but zeros on the board. This one is all but over. We'll take one for the road. Kemi said, "I'll get it to go order," and we'll go on to game number 4.
And now comes one of the most interesting parts of this series here, because KKA have put themselves onto series point. They have a chance, one single game, and they move into the grand finals here. So it's possible. It's very possible that we could have our last game of the series on our hands here, but I'm interested. In your opinion, Caribou, do we see a game number 5 now? Because it's no guarantee. Don't get me wrong. By no stretch of the imagination is it a guarantee here, but it feels like, considering how close these games are, Game 5 might just be inevitable.
I'm still sticking to it. I think we're both going to be right in our prediction that we're going to see a game number 5. We'll take a look at the replays from that last game here before we get to this one. But, I mean, a good performance nonetheless. You know, opening up the first couple minutes, good offensive performance. We saw some good passes still on either side. Caillou really did a great job here on this one to put those goals on the board. And, you know, watching just the simplicity of that. I mean, at a point, like, I think 2 minutes left, Sneaky's stat line was 1 goal, 1 shot, 1 assist, and 1 save. It was a real simple game. It was not a lot. It was not flashy, but they got the job done. And at the end of the day, as long as you got more points, well, that's really all that matters. Put more goals up, then good job, you win the game. But it just, the fact that they're able to do so in such a simplistic style, they don't have to put up 12, 15 shots. They can just make sure that the shots that they do take are very efficient, and they'll just watch the game go back and forth on both sides until eventually an opportunity is given. And the shot that they're going to get is a good shot, a clean shot, just like this one. I mean, you can't get any cleaner than that.
That's gold tournament for me so far here. We've seen some rather spectacular plays in terms of just momentum and in terms of just, you know, being able to really have some mechanical abilities. Nothing is cleaner than that, though. I have tried so many times in so many different games. I think I have over 2,000 hours in Rocket League, and I've never accomplished that. But that's not here nor there. We can make fun of my poor skills in Rocket League another time. For now, let's look at another highlight of today. In Northway taking down MZU 3-0 here. I'll be honest, had we gone to the series, this would have been my prediction here. But a 3-0 means that Northway moving to the grand finals with more momentum than I can even describe at this point. That is massive for them, especially considering they had a closely contested first series. So to get a little bit of reprieve, find a bit of confidence now, and move into the finals with a 3-0. Oh boy, I'm scared for whoever has to face them now at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be a very challenging matchup right there here, but this one a little bit closer as to where we stand currently. I still think that we are going to see that game number 5. I think that Night Guard and G's are going to find their way back into this one, because of just, you know, how close it's been. You know, they found answers. Kimmy and Storms just, they get those glimpses of excellence where it's all of a sudden the craziest thing you've ever seen. So we'll see what their answer is going to be going into game number 4. And I still wholeheartedly believe there will be an answer found here for the Night Guard and G's. On the other side, you see Sneaky and Caillou trying to close this one out, trying to make this a 3-1 series to go on and meet Northway in that grand finals.
We're going to have to find out whether or not one of these two teams can find that momentum, find that control that we've been looking for this entire series. The Night Guard and G's, it is necessary for KKA. It's a chance to just try and close it out a little bit early here. But again, you don't ever really want to give up game 4 and then go into game 5 after having the lead. It means the momentum has flipped and your backs are against the wall. And, well, for KKA, that might just be the reality.
Just might. Good challenge there, good repossession, and then getting a meet with your teammate there in front of the box to put the shot on. Give the goal up, Night Guard and G's. I mean, they take the lead here, the 1-0. This is kind of what they needed to start out of this one. And as slow as a lot of this gameplay has been, they just got to find a way. Sneaky's got a breakaway here, though. He's going to take this coast to coast. And it looked like a little bit of a flubbed control to start this possession, but Sneaky just realized, okay, well, if you're not going to go back on defense, I guess I'll just dribble all the way down the field.
I mean, at a certain point, we've got to start expecting this, right? That's kind of what the twos meta has been for the day here. One team getting a little bit impatient, throwing a little bit too much onto their offense, and when they recognize that there's defensive weakness, the other team scores immediately. So let's see which team can take advantage of that defensive error the most here. So far, it has been KKA to equalize the only time we've seen it, but I know that this is not quite over yet, and it's because of plays like that. No defensive error here. I'm not even going to say that the defense played this poorly. This is just the most spectacular shot we've seen since, well, the spectacular shot we saw last game. What on earth?
Such a long time ago we saw the last spectacular shot. Such a difficult angle right there from that wall. And being able to hit that one, keep that under control, and just maintain that composure to put that one into the back of the net to give the lead back here. That's just such a clutch goal, clutch performance from a really solid player. And as we said, coming into this series, 4 incredibly talented players on this one. It's just a matter of who's going to step up more. That shot is going to be off and wide, but it's going to leave it wide open for Sneaky, who's going to come in from midfield. A commitment in the air, and that challenge is going to leave it open. No chance at all for Night Guard and G's defense to get there in time. KKA going to equalize this game.
This is just going back and forth here. With over 3.5 minutes remaining, I'm wondering if we're going to get another barn burner where it's just shot after shot after shot ripping into the back of the net. Every once in a while, you get one of those where defense is not only not the priority, defense is an afterthought at a certain point. And if this is one of those games where it's just offense, 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 go, 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 I'm not going to complain. They're always entertaining to watch. And, well, Night Guard and G seem to be apparently on that side. They throw both of their players into the final third and try and score on KKA, but this is why that can be an issue. The scramble back into their own half, and with not a lot of boost in the tank, they're going to have to be careful here. Kemi will send this one out center, but again, double commitment clumped up on top of each other, so I don't think there'll be a follow-up, but a good boost steal in the corner might just lead to a midfield presence now. Night Guard G's looking for that goal, trying to take the lead here late in game number 4. No such luck. They're retreating back into their half, and despite multiple attempts at getting out of their own half and starting an offense together, so far, KKA have thwarted every single attempt, and they'll do it once again. Another good on-the-line save from the Kleinkind Army.
Kemi had 15 more boosts there. That first shot is going in. Instead, it's going to make a brief rotation back and get the second opportunity. Great possession by Storms there, just to keep it hovering in the corner to allow Kemi to go back, get some boost to be relevant in the play once more to maintain that offensive possession. Something we talked about at the top of the show. Whoever's going to be able to consistently apply offensive pressure is going to see more signs of success. And off the demo, outnumbered 2-1, it doesn't matter. Kemi's still going to find possession at midfield and get the shot on. Sneaky, a little abrasive, going for the demo and the midfield boost, getting a little greedy there to leave that one open.
That's a little bit surprising. You don't necessarily expect that out of KKA, but again, like we said, this is an aggressive game. Defense might just become an afterthought here, and if that's the case, then that could be a game that's in advantage, of the Night Guard G's here, because they're a team that like to play this quick pace of play. They don't want to slow down. If you make them slow down, that gives time for someone to have a second guess and for someone to hesitate, and all of a sudden the pace of play is broken down to a point where the Night Guard G's are not as comfortable. But they're not going to be able to get comfortable yet. Here comes a third goal from KKA, and all of a sudden, with 2 minutes remaining, they're only 1 goal away from evening this one up.
Yeah, that ball just floating lazily down the field. Coyote gets a good first touch on it. And the defense slow on the rotation. I mean, you give credit to try the challenge in the corner, but that flip at midfield just unfortunately was the perfect advantage that the KKA needed to get in position and leave that ball hanging to make that offensive attack possible. Instead, now a single goal down, but it's very close again. KKA's offensive possession here threatening in this box. They are starting to try to tilt this heat map to go to this side of the field just a little bit more after the Night Guard G's have done such a good job to keep it on the other side here. See which one will reign supreme in this. Such a close game here, but the Night Guard G's in a do-or-die situation. They have to win this game to force a game number 5, and holding on to a single goal lead coming up on a minute to play. You just got to know that they understand this pressure that's put on them.
They very much do, and they are playing like it, throwing everything they've got at this offense here. It's kitchen sink mentality. If they haven't been able to find something that sticks against the wall yet, it's time to throw everything that you have got, and they're doing exactly that, trying to hold on to this midfield presence, trying to find another goal, but they need to be careful. If they concede one right now, that'll be an even game, and all of a sudden, KKA might just be able to take it in overtime. The Night Guard G's don't technically need another goal. As great as it would be to give them a safety net, at this point, all they need is to hold on. Just delay the inevitable counterattacks that KKA are trying for here, and just don't give them a shot. Kemi, this is a smart play, just brings us into the corner and starts to dribble around their own net. Knows that if they can force KKA into an overexposure, they can try and score on a cross-court attack, but no such luck there. Q should have been able to get back to that one maybe a little bit earlier, because now it's allowed the Night Guard G's to find one more offense. With 20 seconds left, this could be the last one, but not if these teams have anything to say about it. Sneaky goes up for that one. Q is going to try and pass this one out center. This one's up high. Sneaky doesn't want to commit, though. Probably needed to. You can understand why they didn't want to get counterattacked, but with only a couple of seconds left, there's no time to become hesitant. They'll try again for another one, but the golden opportunity has gone, and the Night Guard G's will force a game number 5.
Well, the good news is one of us is right in our predictions. that's the good thing that's about to happen out of this one. But such a close back and forth again. But Night Guard G's, I mean, they got the job done. They knew what they had to do to be able to take control of that one and be in possession. And then at the end, once they get the lead, just burn the clock. I mean, you get the insurance lead out of that one. And then the last 60 seconds, all you got to do, possess the ball, pass it around, see what's what, and take a looking at the replays here in this one powered by Microsoft IATL. I mean, it just started with Kemi and Storm knowing what they had to do to be able to get these shots on, get these beautiful opportunities to go. And I mean, Kemi's goal out of this one, you know, off the wall, such a tight angle, is so difficult. Sneaky's going to get a freebie here, but I mean, the shot that Kemi had off the wall, that's so tough. That's such a hard angle to hit.
Oh my god, it would have felt wrong had they not won this game off of that. You score that type of shot and you lose a game, it would have been heartbreaking, but luckily enough, it has not happened, and we will move to a game number 5 here. But you can see both teams throwing everything at each other. The resiliency for both sides really has been phenomenal, and I don't know what else to say, but man, are we getting good Rocket League here today, my friend.
Right.
Best of 5 for the first game, that goes to game 5. Best of 5 in the second series, that goes to game 5. And honestly, if we see the finals go to game 7 as well, because it's a best of 7, I wouldn't be surprised. But again, I don't know how much my heart can take of this. I've started to realize that maybe I haven't picked the healthiest career option here, just due to the fact that the strain it puts on me is just insane. But I wouldn't trade it in for the world, because oh my word, we get to watch insane Rocket League action like this all the time. And here we go. Game number 5 underway. It's the Kleinkind Army versus the Night Guard and G's in game 5 of this best of 5. Winner of this match moves on to the grand finals and secures themselves a minimum $100 from this 500 prize pool, with a potential $350 at the top. That's a lot of cash to play for, and it's a very important event that they have been battling all month for. So I'm ready to get into this one. Here we go, Caribou. This is going to be an incredible game.
Yeah, just waiting to see whose offense is going to step up and take control of this one early. Who's going to get first blood out of this? We know Kemi and Storms have the prowess to do so. We know Sneaky's just as capable. The first shot off the crossbar. Sneaky's going to get another deflection off to make sure that there's an opportunity, but Storm's going to watch the comeback, watch the putback, but will not have an opportunity for a pass off. A demo here is going to be able to slow this attack down the other way. We'll see what they can do to send it down into the other zone. Another demo. And the Night Guard and G is going to play physicality here in this one. It seems to start until they get that first goal. And you know what? I'm all for this strategy. Oh.
Ooh, they still need to get that first goal, though. They cannot find it. Night Guard and G's trying their darndest, but will not find a shot into the back of the net. And don't tell me this goes the other way. No such luck. Sneaky almost able to sneak in a nice goal there to take the first, but Night Guard and G's, I can't help but say it, you guys should be up by 1 right now. So much offensive pressure, but not a single goal to show for it. 90 seconds gone, and the Night Guard and G's are going to want that offense back.
Yeah, getting so close and not getting anything to show for is just such a heartbreak, such a little bit of a killer to your momentum and how you feel out of this one. Storm's trying to get the carry, will be denied. Kai's going to be credited with the save on that one. 3 shots credited for Storms here, but still not seeing any luck on this side. We know how efficient the other side is on their shots. That's the second one from Caillou, and make it 1 for 2. And that's all that they need to get the first goal here and to go ahead. Almost 2 minutes into this game, KKA, 1 goal.
That is not good for them, unfortunately. Night Guard and G's putting on that much pressure, and then all of a sudden they crumble just on a single offense from KKA. Props to KKA, taking advantage of the defensive error, something we've been complimentary of them all day for, but I just didn't think that that would be the deciding factor here in Game 5. Apparently, it's not the only one, though. Demos and physicality, like you said, becoming a pretty prevalent part of the Night Guard and G's plan. So maybe it's patient play versus physicality. Who wins at the end of the day? We're not quite sure yet. For right now, it's looking like KKA, but with only a 1-goal lead, that is not enough to secure them this game. They need a little bit more if they want to feel comfortable, and, well, here's why. Night Guard and G's right back on offense and pressing the issue. Out of midfield, 1 good fake out is not going to be enough, though. Q going to have a fantastic touch, and then a 50-50 afterwards to send this into the Night Guard and G's half. And now with half the game remaining, if KKA can find themselves a second goal, that would be massive for their confidence and also give them that necessary safety net. And they're looking like they might just be able to. Sneaky in a 1v1. Here's that mechanical prowess we talked about, and that's how it is displayed into the top right. Perfect accuracy, and KKA will take the lead by 2.
Sneaky just carried this ball in a perfect position that regardless of whatever challenge would come out of Kemi right there, there was no chance at all that ball was going to get pushed off, deflected off. There was enough velocity, momentum going the right way. That ball was going to go across that line, go into the back of the net, regardless of what happened from Kemi right there. They just got to now find the answer from the Night Guard and G's. And as you said, we know how explosive they can be in such short bursts, but they just have to be able to find that setup and find that angle for the offensive attack if they want to. The physicality in the first 30 seconds did not pan out for them. So now they have to find a way to create their own advantages coming down into this last minute and 40 seconds here to get at least a goal on the board. I mean, it starts with one. You cannot go into the last 60 seconds down 2-0.
Yeah, that's the big thing here, is they just need to find that first goal, that catalyst that's going to really start to ignite this offense. And, oh, a big physical demo there is going to be maybe enough. No, Sneaky. Fortunate spawn will get in the way, and the Night Guard and G's got to be heartbroken about that. The only RNG in all of Rocket League is where does a player spawn, and the one time that RNG can be a factor, it comes back and unfortunately hinders the Night Guard and G's. That's got to be painful, but unfortunately, you can't dull or dwell in that pain quite yet. You're going to need to keep on playing resiliently because with only a minute remaining, the Night Guard and G's are truly backed against the wall. They need 2 goals just to force an overtime.
Yeah, not a lot of shots from the side of the KKA, but they're able to still hold on to this 2-0 lead right now where you just got to wait for the Night Guard and G's to find an angle that they can get in a shot off, an efficient shot. There's the demo there, an opportunity now. Caillou gonna make a great save coming across from right to left, and now look for a counterattack opportunity. You're gonna see the defense get back in time, but 30 seconds to go. Night Guard and G's time is ticking, and they are just seemingly desperately grasping for anything to get an opportunity to get a shot on. Sneaky's gonna get a breakaway opportunity after Key's pass from midfield to give KKA a 3-0 lead and almost all but a series victory.
I mean, all but at this point, really, it's basically a series victory here. At this point, I'm going to say GG's. Well played to both teams, but unfortunately, at the end of the day, there can only be one winner. And guess what? The Night Guard and G's are displaying exactly why that counterattacking, pressured attitude isn't always going to be reliable. You sometimes need that pop-off, and KKA delivered that today. The multiple goals we saw from this team that just had unreal mechanical ability, combined with the fact that they punished any little mistake out of the Night Guard and G's, or why the Kind Army are going to move on to be your second team in that grand final. It went to a best of 5, or it went to game 5 in this best of 5. This is exactly what we were hoping for, Caribou, but I have to admit it, your prediction was right and mine was wrong. I did not predict this one correctly, and the Kind Army will move to the grand finals.
Honestly, like, this one really could have gone either way. Like, this was just a flip of a coin. Honestly, I didn't know if the KKA was going to win, but you said Night Guard and G's, and I was like, well, I'm going to go the other way. We'll see what happens. But it's just stroke of luck there for me. So, 5, nice. Moving on into the grand finals, though, against the team, as we've already talked about with Northway. They are rolling. I mean, a 3-0 against Emsu, and, you know, how they're playing, it's going to be dangerous. Let's take a look at the replays here from the series between these two teams. As you said, going the full 5 games already sets a precedent that you have played your heart out. You got to wonder, is any level of fatigue or exhaustion going to start kicking in? I doubt it, but that is the thing that, like, is going to be an asterisk on the play as to how they're going to fare coming into a best-of-7 grand finals against a team that just rolled a 3-0 opponent, has had a bit of a break to reset. But from what we saw out of this one, as good a back and forth as it was, you really got to expect that Sneaky and Caillou both are going to have to do at least a little bit more if they want to fare just as well against the likes of Northway.
That's the big thing here, is that there needs to be just a little bit something extra, and I think that extra is going to be Sneaky with those pop-off potential. We saw this before. We saw it in the last game. It took a while for Sneaky to really start getting that mechanical prowess together, but once he started to figure out how to do so, it became rather difficult for the Night Guard and G's to contain him. So let's see. Maybe that's going to be the separating factor here. I'm waiting till we get to see that Sneaky goal where he kind of just drills it into the top right. That's the one goal I want to watch back, because it may not seem like the most mechanically gifted play. I'm going to tell you this 1,000 times over.
Right.
That is so much harder than anybody could imagine. Yeah. That's the best thing about pros, though. They make all the hard stuff look easy, right?
Yeah. That's all that this is. Just, yeah, I can do that, obviously. And then you just get on the field and you're like, oh, what? How do you even control that ball like that? Like, I can't even do it on an empty field by myself, let alone with the defender in my face. But, I mean, Sneaky did such a good job to hold on to that ball, just keeping it so close. I mean, almost similar to what we saw Q do, to just maintain possession of that ball so close to home, keeping it right on your car and just not letting that ball get away from you to keep it in possession until the handoff is available to your teammate to put it in the goal, or until it just literally glides across the line, you get a goal scored. That's just such a difficult thing to pull off, but they made it happen. And that, I think, that is that little emphasis of something extra that they need to do at least a few times more against the likes of Northway. Like, it was enough to get the job done here against the Night Guard and G's, barely. But you cannot just barely get by a team like Northway. You have to at least come out swinging, come out convincing, because that is such a good team that is on cloud nine right now with momentum and confidence that they're like, you know what? Yeah, we just stomped our semifinal. Let's go. We 3-0. We're going to go to the finals. We're going to 4-0 this. Like, there's no chance.
Well, we're going to have to find out if they can do that, because after this quick little break, we are going to have the Kleinkind Army versus Northway. And I mean, we've hyped these teams up the entire night. I don't know what else to say except for stay tuned. Quick little break, like we said, but when we return, our grand finals here in the Atlanta Community Open for the month of October. You are not going to want to miss it. We'll be back in just a couple of moments.
shake.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Atlanta Community Open Finals for the month of October. Once again, my name is Bass on the Pass, and joined alongside me here is the lovely Confused Caribou. And Caribou, we have arrived. We are at the very, very end of this night. It is the grand finals, and this is going to be an incredible one. So far, of a possible 10 games, we have seen all 10 games. So if this one is anything like our history, we might just be in for a full series.
Yeah, a whole 17 games is honestly just spoiling us. Like, I don't know what we do to deserve that, but I think that that's something that's absolutely a realistic expectation looking at these two teams. I mean, just knowing that what they are going to be scrapping for is you see a $500 prize pool on the line. First place here out of this series is going to be walking away with $350 in their pocket, split between the two players. Obviously, $100 to the second place team. And the team that ends up, the team that lost to the team that gets first place, apparently is the team that gets the third place prize money as well. So that's still something that's pretty cool. So now the teams that are in the semifinals have someone to root for here because you want the team that beat you to win, so you get that third place prizing money as well. So looking to see who will step up here in this matchup. Obviously, Northway playing against MZU in their semis went to a 3-0 scoreline in their series to move here into this one. And like you said, the series we just saw, a 3-2 final. That couldn't have been any better.
It was everything we could have hoped for in that series. And, well, now we have to find out if this series is going to deliver everything we hope for. Before we find that out, we've got to predict how we think it's going to end on up here. And, well, listen, I hate to say it for the Kleinkind Army. They are a very capable team. They have played very well before, but they might have their most difficult task of the night. I'm going to probably put my bets down on Northway here, Caribou. They have looked strong throughout this entire month. They have looked better and better every time we see them play. And the fact that they get a little bit of a break in between the games make me think that they're going to come into this one fresh, come into this one confident, and unfortunately for Kleinkind Army, they're just not going to be up to the task of taking them down.
I think last time around, I went against the grain. I just, whatever, 3-2, I'll flip the other way and see what happened. I can't do that this time. I think that I am in agreement with you. I think that given the understanding that obviously Sneaky and Sneaky, that's a great team name. They should take, if they take that team name, credit me. Thanks. Sneaky have glimpses of excellence, right? And if they are able to do that and capitalize on that, I think they will get away with a game or two in this series. So I will give them likewise something to the likes of a 4-1, 4-2 scoreline. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, give them 2 games, but I do think that it probably will go the Northway way, exactly like the reason you said, because they get a little bit of a break. They just look so confident in their last couple of series. They just progressively get better. Don't worry, we got late game. Don't worry, we're scaling. Northway is in prime position to walk away with the first place prize.
I would not be surprised if we see that as the outcome, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes the other way as well. Both these teams have battled it out all day. In a best of 7, you never know what could happen, but let's find out. Game number 1 here in this best of 7. Night Garden G's going to be, oh wait, excuse me, no, not the Night Garden G's. The Northway team going to be in the orange here, and the Kleinkind Army going to be in the blue. I'm excited to get into this one, Caribou. All I'm looking for is some spectacular goals, and oh my word, we have already found them. Demo for the first goal, and Northway will take the lead.
Putting yourself in an emphasizing position to just take this one out. Just watch the defender clear the way, get out of the way. Kiyu going to be taken out right there to open the door to see the first goal scored here. Pablo and Aqua, I mean, they know what they got to do. They've done it time and time again. Northway in position here to take an early lead, take aggression on this one. And I think this is probably something that we'll expect to see a lot of, is that offensive pressure and just the amount of time spent on that side of the field here. Put that heat map on the other side is everything that Northway wants to do.
That's the big thing, is just keep, oh my word, that pressure up until eventually there is a crack. But finally, eventually, we can see some offensive life out of the Climb-Kind army here. KKA finally get themselves a little bit of something, but it's very short-lived. And now Aqua going the other way, almost had a chance to put in a dagger. But no such luck, and instead it's an open defense here. Is anyone going to get back? No, they will not, and Q will put in the first, making this one equaled out all over again.
Relatively quick answer on that side, just to watch it come through to get the shot from midfield. And that's the thing we've seen both of those players on that side for the KKA capable of, is getting those midfield shots on target and put them in position, capitalizing on an advantage that you've created going the other way, or the defense not quite getting back in time. So being able to do that, recognize the failure there for Northway to not have both players relatively close enough in position, but comes down to it, that's just a good opportunity taken from the KKA to put themselves back tied in this game.
Ooh, and they're not even going to stay tied. They're going to go up by 1 here. Cross-court and in, and, well, we said that we weren't sure if this strategy was going to work out against a team like Northway, but so far, even Northway apparently showing some gaps in defense that can be exploited, Trevor.
Yeah, and that's another one of those things, as we've talked about through qualifiers, through every single community open, you're not allowed to make mistakes because teams will capitalize on, they will recognize and understand and punish you for those mistakes that you make, no matter how big or small that they are. And we're seeing just that here. Elite teams will find a way to either break you down or get around your defense or get around your offense from the mistakes that you make. And that's exactly what happened there. Another commitment on the other side and a demo towards midfield. Another goal scored for the KKA. Sneaky is just imposing himself in this midfield presence.
And now I'm starting to get a little bit concerned that maybe we had this one backwards. Maybe Northway had too much of a lull when they went through their semifinals here. They didn't necessarily feel as much of a contest, so they got a little bit too comfortable. Now, all of a sudden, we get into the grand finals. They find an opponent that has not missed a beat. Not only has not missed a beat, but came out swinging here, and now they're a bit caught off guard. So let's see, maybe Northway can make this comeback happen here. They've absolutely got the potential to do so, but I'd be kind of surprised. At this point, Climb-Kind Army have them red, and unless we see a switch up on this offense, I think that Climb-Kind Army have a pretty clear way of how to beat this Northway team.
And the fact that you come out like this, you know, it's just giving more confidence to you and your teammate as to how you're coming out. But I think that Northway, you're right in that sense. Great save there, Pablo, on the line to deny that fourth goal from going in. But I think it's a point of, from Northway, like you said, caught flat-footed in this situation. They're not quite ready or prepared for what KKA is offering in this incursion. And even with a little bit of a double commit there, you know, they can't quite get around, and this Q's going to get a shot on, but that will be pushed aside by Aqua here. Now try to find a way to go the other way, but still down 2 goals in this position. Northway's got to find something to give here to get back into their groove, pick up their rhythm once more, and get back to playing the Northway style of Rocket League, because right now it's just a simple matter of they're playing reactive to the KKA style of Rocket League.
Pretty much. I mean, and this is one of these things where it is game 1, so both teams are probably going to be feeling each other out, trying to develop their type of pace of play and their play style that they want. But it's usually pretty telling if a team can come out the gates and don't really need that much of an adjustment period. It kind of feels like KKA took about 12 seconds when, okay, so this team's also going to overexpose themselves, and then realize that counterattacking could still be a viable strategy. So let's see, maybe Northway can switch it up here, but really beyond that, I want to see them get a goal to end this game, because with a minute remaining, I don't think they have the time for a comeback. It's technically possible, but beyond just a comeback, they need a goal just to get some confidence. Woohoo! And they will find it.
And they will find it. So they are able to get that one. Aqua, again, just under 60 seconds, and I think that this is kind of right where they want to be. Great control of that boost to carry that one through the air. Good read as well. Just knowing the trajectory of that ball, and the defenders just can't quite challenge in time. Aqua down to the last tick of boost on that shot as well. But, I mean, coming under that 60-second threshold, I said it from the KKA perspective in the last game. You don't want to be down 2-0 going into the last 60 seconds. Northway just hit that precipice and score a goal, so they're well within striking distance.
This is still very possible for them, but they need to keep this offensive pressure up, but not at the expense of their defense here. They play too aggressive and all of a sudden get caught off guard. It's going to be an easy counter for KKA to find themselves a little bit of a security here, but let's see, can they do exactly that? Northway pressing to try and find themselves at least an equalizer to force an overtime. No boost in the tank, and Q will beat out at midfield. With 10 seconds left, it is one last offense now for Northway. They can only get a 50-50 past Sneaky, but I don't think they're going to get much else. Q, though, actually going to give time and space. This one off the backboard. It'll drop down. Where is the teammate there? No one there, and KKA will take game number 1. And Caribou, I'm a bit confused.
No, that's me. You can't take my thing. You're from the past. I'm the confused one. We've been through this before. Come on now.
How do I leave? Hold up.
No, I'm right there with you. All right. See you later, buddy. And Back to the Future now. But no, this is, confusing, perplexing, just curious as to why. That was a great setup and a good opportunity to go for the center, look for a shot on, and then teammate is... All right, well, we'll get him next game.
Maybe we can see here in the replays. We're going to take a look back at that first game, and maybe it'll shine some light on everything that we have seen here, brought to you by Microsoft ATL. But honestly, these first couple goals made sense. This was a beautiful passing play. It's a great way to start on up, plus the demo is an easy way to open up this one for Northway. The counter-attacking goals we then see from KKA here, like this one with a good demo out of midfield, also makes sense. This is all going to be about that last play, because I just have to understand, when your backs are against the wall and you've got nothing to lose, it's time to send everything at your opponents. I don't understand the retreat out at midfield, so here we go. We can see the second goal here. This was a beautiful one, so I do want to take note of it, but I'm hoping, can we see it? No, it's not caught in the replays there. Would have been fantastic to see, but hey, nonetheless, it's still one of those things where I don't really care if we don't get to see it. It's still a question mark on the game nonetheless there. KKA and Northway both did not really seem like they were coming out the gates firing there. KKA did that for a reason, in my opinion. They did it because they wanted to have those counterattacks be their most reliable part of their game. But for Northway, a team, like we said, who really do thrive in that confident offense, why they wouldn't necessarily throw everything to end a game has me a bit confused.
I don't know if that's just maybe a recognition that we just don't have the opportunity. We don't have the option to get the shot on. I mean, I think that there is something like you might as well try. Like, there's no reason to leave it on the table at that point. But, coming into game number 2 now, looking for the adjustments made. I mean, obviously coming in game number 1, going with the demos was what they needed to get that first goal. Hopefully we'll find a level of success from the physicality and brutality. It's a third demo in the first 15 seconds here. And just one team fighting for control, trying to take advantage of this one early on. But KKA holding on to the momentum out of their game number 1 victory. And there's no server change, so it doesn't matter what's going to happen. The mechanics aren't going to change on either side, but Pablo going to show his mechanics off here and get a beautiful flip reset aerial carry to get the first goal for Northway.
Where was this the whole first game? We said Northway had that pop-off potential. We hyped this team up for their individual plays for an entire pre-show, and then they come in the first game and are just looking a little bit lackluster. Now in game 2, they go, all right, now we start playing for real. What on earth, Northway? Pop-off potential out of nowhere. Flip reset goal, and let's see this one now. What has Aqua got up his sleeve? He's got a bump attempt. Not quite able to slot that into the back of the net, but Northway have come into this one with a game plan, and that game plan is aggression.
Yeah, and I like that game plan because it worked for the first 30 seconds of game number 1. It got him their first goal. It got him a lot of pressure. They spent that whole first 30, 45 seconds of game number 1 on the offensive side of the field, and they were doing a really good job at creating that pressure and maintaining control on that. But then they really just let it fizzle, let it die off, and kind of let the KKA take possession and play their own game, which I think is something that you never want to let a player like Sneaky do. And knowing the players that Sneaky's recruited, I don't think that's something you'd ever want to let Kiyu do either. So it's a matter of, why do you give up your game plan strategy after X amount of time, and how do you adjust to make it a viable thing to just not employ your strategy anymore and find a different way to make an attack and make an approach? Because a 1-0 scoreline against a team like the KKA is not going to get the job done.
No, I don't think quite yet. They can try and play with this 1-0, but I think it's gonna... Oh, excuse me, about to sneeze. It's going to take a little bit more there. Somehow able to fight that off. But one thing that I don't think that Kleinkind Army are able to fight off right now is the overwhelming amount of pressure from Northway. They will find a solo play. And what a way to come back into this game. Q going to put in a ridiculous flick. This is just mind games. Pablo thinks he's going high, and instead he goes wide, and that's right into the net.
And I was going to wonder if Pablo just didn't recognize how far over they were in giving KU the chance to get that shot, get that flip on, and put that shot, because that was just almost a little too open there for Q to be able to get that shot off, and Pablo didn't even really challenge other than just trying to turn around. And so I don't know if Pablo just wasn't quite fully aware of the positioning there and thought maybe a little either closer to the net or just had a better angle off that one. But Aqua on the flip reset, going to try to sneak that inside the post, but will not get that one to go. Will be met by both of the defenders, but still maintaining possession on this side of the field. And something we really haven't seen from any teams today is a lot of boost starvation and control. It's been a lot of back and forth and a lot of just give and take, but we haven't really seen a lot of just absolute dominance to keep the ball on one side of the field for extended periods of time.
We haven't seen that extended pressure, really. It hasn't felt like we've been able to really have that established pressure that we know and love, and it is something we've seen a lot in twos. It's definitely a lot more difficult in twos, but speaking of difficult, apparently that angle was a little bit too difficult for Pablo. He will go back for the follow-up, but maybe he can set it up for Aqua instead. No such luck, but Northway, one other thing we're also seeing, their offense has been kind of muted, not due to their own fault. The defense from KKA has just been able to stop pretty much everything any team has thrown at them, and it's impressive to say the least.
And Sneaky always was really good at defense. I mean, can't take that away. Sneaky's such a phenomenal mechanical player and able to make phenomenal plays on the offensive front, but just as good at shutting down on the defensive side to not let opponents really take a good job. A bump there on Q trying to open up the door, but Sneaky makes a save. Q makes a recovery on the line, is going to be able to stop that one. No go-ahead goal just yet. Ball still on this side. The back is not picked up by Aqua. Is going to be able to let this attack at least slow down and fizzle. We go the other way, under a minute to play, but a good opportunity from Northway gets shut down.
Ooh, but now another chance for them to go the other way. Demo also going to open up some space here. It's Q by themselves, has to just deflect this one out. Now a chance for Aqua and Pablo to set something up. I think that Aqua was more trying to make that into a pass and send that across for his teammate to put a shot on, but couldn't really make it a pass, couldn't really make it a shot. Awkward in between, and unfortunately, it's going to be the end of the Northway offense here. And with 30 seconds left, they're going to need to be careful. There's not a lot of time for either one of these teams to recover. So if a goal goes in now, it might just be the last one. And Northway coming scarily close to giving up that goal there and allowing Kleinkind Army onto a 2-0 lead in the series. With 15 seconds left, it's looking like we might just be slotted for overtime. Not if Northway have something to say about it, though. This one pinched out. Aqua should be waiting in the wing, so maybe he can keep this one alive, but just a touch off the backboard, and actually, this is going the other way. KKA now might actually have a chance. Pablo's just going to try and keep this up for his teammate, but oh no, instead, he's just going to pop this out to the side. That'll hit the ground, and Northway and Kleinkind Army go to our Hyper X overtime. Let's see who can take this one. An important game for Northway. They win this, they even out the series. They lose it. They're 2 games down, and they do not want to be in that position.
Real tough spot to be in. I like the attempt at the end of the original time to try this. Aqua's going to try to carry this in to finish it now, but Sneaky on the line will make the save here. Pablo with possession is going to hit the ball wayward of the net. Will go wide, though, and wait for a little bit of reset collection of the boost as well. Q going to be taking this one. Aqua just going to be bullied off this, not allowed to really get back into the play, but Pablo will meet in the corner. 40 seconds have passed yet. Couple of shots either way, but nothing too impressive. A demo onto Sneaky. Potential opportunity for Pablo and Aqua. He's going to ride it up the wall. Look for the pass. Look for the play off. Is disrupted. Good opportunity, good setup off the demo, but just could not get that final execution.
Unfortunately not, and this has kind of been the entire issue for Northway here, is they're getting a lot of good offensive pressure, but when it comes time for a final shot, there's just someone to interrupt it. KKA have been able to shut down so many offenses from this Northway squad that it's got to be frustrating at this point. If you're throwing everything against your opponents and just none of it is able to work, you're starting to question yourself and question what on earth is it going to take to really break down this team. Fancy plays like that are fantastic. They look good, but Aqua, there's probably a better idea of how to approach that offense there. You guys have got a dual-edged sword here. Both you and your teammate are very capable of scoring. It's time to utilize both of you guys. A lot of the reason I think that KK are in the lead right now in the series is this duo is functioning as a duo right now, Caribou.
Yeah, and I think that Pablo and Aqua, they have, like we know, the capability to do so. I mean, how many times do we see them in the highlight reel as to what they were capable of in doing before the show even started as a duo with their passing plays, with their capability of understanding where the player's going to be, almost seemingly without communication. Like, it's just a natural understanding with a duo that's played together for so long, and they're just not getting that same setup between Pablo and Aqua as we are accustomed to seeing. As we're over 2 minutes into extra time here and still have yet to see a definitive possession really for either side. We saw a good setup the first time from this team, but just couldn't get that finish. And since then, it's just really been back and forth from either side. And it's going to come down to whoever makes a defensive mistake first. Watch the first miscue, look for a double commit, look for a play off the demo, look for something for a one-on-one play. Pablo's going to get just that and go over the top. A little disruption on the backside. Aqua went screaming across the field, and Pablo just had one man to beat. Does just that, gets the go-ahead, gets the game. Northway ties it up.
And that's how you do it. There's that pop-off potential we were talking about. We knew Northway had that. They just took a second to finally deliver and really show it. But now that they have, we've got a series on our hands. 1-1 here. At minimum, we've got a best-of-5 basically ahead of us here between these two teams. And I don't know who to predict at this point. KK looked very capable in that first game, but once Northway started to find their rhythm, they did look a lot stronger. I don't think that it's fully where it needs to be yet, but all that really means is we get an even better back and forth.
Now looking for more back and forth. Take a look at the back and forth out of that game through our replays powered by Microsoft ATL, and it was just a lot of back and forth as we talk about it. You know, even in extra time, just not a lot of definitive possession on either side. Pablo with a good solo play there to carry that one across the board. And, you know, even as we talk about with the duality between Pablo and Aqua and what they did in overtime, sometimes it's not about the duality of passing plays. Sometimes being able to have that duality of just pressure and presence on the field, which is exactly what Aqua did. Just by creating a zone of influence, was able to get that second defender off of Pablo, and you have the faith then that your teammate is going to be able to win that one-on-one. All they got to do is put that ball where that last defender can't get it, and that's exactly what Pablo's capable of. I really like that trust in your teammate, and I think that only teams that have been playing together and have good synergy like that are able to pull something like that off.
100%. And I think that's a lot of the edge we're seeing for both of these teams is who's able to take advantage of that duo play better. Because game number one, it kind of felt like that was what Kind Army were taking the edge on. Yes, it was counterattacks, but it felt like a lot of those counterattacks were due to two players. Northway did it in game number 2, but let's hop into game number 3 and see who can really execute upon this the best, because this might be where someone sets the tone. Obviously, we've got a long series ahead of us. Like we said, best of 7, and now basically a best of 5 with the 1-1 scoreline. But you take a second game, you take that advantage back in your favor after both teams have started to show their full potential. It really can set the tone and, well, sort of just set the rest of the series up.
And as we've seen from best of 5s today, we're going to get all 5. You know we are, and Sneaky's going to be able to take this one out of the air, off the nose, and rocket this ball in. Great control right there off the wall. Neither defender could get back in time, and I don't think they were just ready for how fast Sneaky was about to pounce.
I just don't think so at all. And, well, to be honest, I wasn't ready for that one as well, because here's the thing. We've been talking about Sneaky and this pop-off potential all day. He's been muted, not really allowing himself to go on to offense. Here's what happens when he does. Flip reset into the back of the net. Sneaky has scored 2 goals in about 30 seconds, and both of them might have been the best goals we've seen all series.
Here's Sneaky finally showing up. We talk about what Sneaky's going to be doing and what Sneaky hasn't been doing in a lot of these series because, like you said, relatively quiet, pretty muted on the offensive presence. I'll give credit to Sneaky on the defensive side because Sneaky, a great defensive player, but we know Sneaky is good at making phenomenal offensive plays as well. We just have not seen any of those yet. And like you said, under 30 seconds puts up 2 of the best goals that we've seen today. And all of a sudden, a 2-0 lead for the KKA. I mean, this is just right where they want to be. And if you can get Sneaky riding the wave of momentum, this is a lethal team.
Oh yeah, 100%. If they can just try and continue with the same sort of confidence and prowess that they just displayed, it's going to be difficult for Northway to get back into this one. And I guess this is kind of our fault. We kept talking about this in the previous series. We were like, when are we going to see KKA with that full potential? When are we going to see Sneaky pull out all the stops here? And then we ended up betting against them because we thought that maybe he just wasn't showing up today. No, he was just holding it in his back pocket. He's just waiting, ace up the sleeve until it was time for them to display that type of mechanical prowess. And well, he's done that here in Game 3. 2-0 here within the first minute. Matter of fact, first 30 seconds, basically. And now Northway going to have to try and fight on back for the remaining 3 here, as we've already gone through another minute and a half past that. And still, despite many efforts, Northway have not found themselves at least a goal. Will find themselves an offense here, but can they penetrate the defense at all? No such luck, and Sneaky will go the other way. 12 boosts in the tank, but that might just be enough for the star-studded striker who's going to put a shot on target. Pablo will get in the way, but Q out in the midfield will keep this offense together. They'll just be playing a little bit of a nuisance ball here. Gets in the way, and as Aqua and Pablo both commit into that corner, you can see Q backs off because Sneaky recognizes here's that awkward defense we were talking about. Northway getting a little bit panicked here. They don't have a lot of boosts in the tank and are overcommitting on offense. If they can be a quick counterattack, KK might just find a 3-goal lead. No such luck, though. Pablo gets in the face and denies the counterattack for now.
Just watching how slow it's really developing. I mean, Pablo gets a shot there, but just the amount of, I think, play that Pablo and Aqua have had together has been minimal. It's been a lot of really solo play, but then you get something like that where Aqua is just hovering that ball over the box, and Pablo comes in from midfield to put the nose on, get the shot on. I don't care who you are. I don't know if anyone's gonna be able to stop that shot without a disruption on Pablo coming in, and playing in twos, that's just not gonna happen.
Nope, not quite, and that's the reason why. Never mind, I was gonna say they've cut the lead in half. Lead back to 2 in a blink of an eye. There's the cross-court counters we have talked about. You leave your defense even a millimeter open, and somehow, some way, Kleinkind Army will find a way through.
Do just that. They go for the weak side, and that millimeter open was just an overcommit on the defensive presence to the other side of the field, and good recognition by that. Sneaky in a good place after getting that back boost, but now watch what they can do on the other side from Northway to find an answer, because as I was saying, it just seems like they've done a lot of individual play. They really haven't had a lot, again, of that good, solid teamwork that we know Northway is completely capable of, and that is what we're looking to come online. We've seen Sneaky come online now with the offensive prowess and the mechanical capabilities, but now it's just time to go the other way. What can Northway do to answer back? And right now they don't have one because Sneaky is taking over this game.
Yeah, this is just the Sneaky show at this point. Unfortunately for Northway, the first step, I think, is going to be trying to take that man either off the pitch or just disrupting him, getting in his face, and I would say not trying to battle him at his own game is going to be key as well. We've seen this a lot. Northway keep trying to challenge Sneaky in these weird 50-50s, and almost every single time Sneaky comes away with at least a clean touch or a shot like that. Sneaky, my friend, where in the heck was this in the last series? What on earth?
I'm just as confused as to not only where is Sneaky's reads on the ball and shots on target been, but Q as well. I mean, that's a phenomenal pass from essentially your own goal line, perfectly placed to midfield to your teammate, where Sneaky's just going to get the touch on, and well, that one just a little bit wide, and you're going to want to have that one back 10 times out of 10. Sneaky should have had another one there. Instead, it's going to try to do it the more difficult way with the defender in your face, and will get denied. But under a minute to play with a 4-goal lead right now, This is not the same Klein Army team that we saw in our last series. This is a team that recognized this is a phenomenal opponent that we're playing against in Northway right now. We have to play to the best of our ability at the top of our game, and they have risen to the occasion and met that challenge head on.
I gotta say, Sneaky, I know we keep complimenting his offense, and we have complimented his defense before, but the fact that his offense can step up like this and he's still making saves on the line like that, that's just not fair. What are Northway gonna do at this point? They're down 5-1. This game is by far out of hand, but I feel like the rest of the games could be as well. They've awoken a beast in KKA that they were not expecting in Sneaky, and now all of a sudden they've got to figure out a way to tame said beast. And honestly, I don't think they've done that a single time this game. When Sneaky gets the ability to control an offense, he does more than control an offense. He sets up an offense, and yes, they do get a goal for the road, but the outcome is the same nonetheless. 5-2 here. KKA will take their second game.
And I think that this is kind of that tip of the iceberg now for KKA against the likes of Northway, because Northway, again, acing their series to come into this one 3-0 in their semifinals, probably had a little bit of that extended break that might have been extended just a little too long, where like that break was just long enough to cool them down, but not quite long enough for them to, like, play games. I mean, they're probably out there, on the practice field just trying to stay warm, but beyond that, they just really kind of seem off kilter from what we were expecting to see them come into this series. And instead, it's been Sneaky just showing that, hey, I know you guys doubted my offensive ability, but yeah, I still got it.
He does indeed still got it. And well, now we get to go watch his highlight reel as well. Replays available here of that third game powered by Microsoft ATL. And once again, like I said, this really is just basically the Sneaky highlight reel. He started off with that goal and never really came down from that level from there on out.
Yeah, just never looked back after that. And not to take anything from Q, because Q did a phenomenal job in this game as well. I mean, Sneaky, but the solo play that Sneaky had on these individual goals was ridiculous, was phenomenal. I mean, this was a great one-off there from Aqua to Pablo. And if we can see more of that, then I think that that's going to be what they need to claw back into this one to try to take back game number 4 to even this series once more. But Q and Sneaky, I mean, even when Sneaky doesn't do these phenomenal aerial controls, flip resets, whatever acrobatics Sneaky wants to do, Q is making phenomenal passing plays that are on point perfectly to where Sneaky is or where Sneaky's going to be. And just with perfect precision, sets your teammate up for a great shot to make Sneaky look just that much better. Of course, Sneaky going to take all the credit from that one, but that's just a great showing there from the KKA as to what they're going to do moving here into game number 4.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. And, well, game number 4 underway. This is, I would say, a very important one here. Not because of the fact that I think that KKA needs to try and keep that form, but I think Northway need to break them. Their backs are basically against the wall at this point. If KKA take this game, they are on series point, and they will have to try and win 3 in a row if they want to take it back from them. So, Northway, this is your game to win. You need to win this one. Otherwise, it's unfortunately going to be one of the toughest tasks all day. You're going to have to take down a KKA who look like they have finally returned to form. I'm getting ahead of myself. First, let's see if they can get it done. 5 minutes on the clock, or just about 4:30 now that we've explained the scenario. And Northway, despite getting some offense together, haven't found a goal. And uh-oh, now they've allowed yet again another KKA offense that isn't going to do anything. Q doesn't get the touch, so he goes for the demo. I can appreciate that, but now you've kind of relieved all that pressure that was being built. Aqua may only have 12 boosts in the tank, but you guys have retreated all the way back in your half and have got to restart this offense yet again.
Yeah, that was just an unfortunate little bit of a miss there by Q to be in position for that shot, for that angle, and unfortunately goes now the other way where, like you said, resets all the momentum, resets possession, see what they can do to find some traction on a reset. But another 30, 40 seconds have passed, and now just back to this back and forth play and waiting for someone to find an angle. Aqua's going to get the flip over the top, going to get demoed also, but it does not matter because it's too little too late. Aqua strikes first.
I'm sorry, what rank are we in right now? This is SSL. These are professional players, right? I mean, hey, listen, man, I've said this before. I've seen crazier plays. I've seen bronze plays at an SSL level. I've seen SSL plays at a bronze level. Every once in a while, chaos just reigns supreme. And, well, for Northway, they seem to be a little bit more comfortable in said chaos. Because KKA, not quite able to keep up with that one. The little bit of panic that set up on the back end for them never really dissipated. And for a team that's been so defensively solid, it's a bit surprising. So hopefully they can recover now at this point, because I don't want to see more shaky plays like that. It's uncharacteristic of KKA, to put it simply, and if it continues that way, they're probably not taking the series.
Again, just circle back around to the point of looking at a team as good as either one of these, or as any of the 8 teams that made it here today, are going to recognize, capitalize, and punish you on your mistakes, because it's just not something you can get away with, regardless of how big or small your mistakes are. It will find a way to slowly but surely whittle you down and get advantages made across the board for the 5 minutes of play. And the fact that Northway is able to at least get that first goal out of this one, we're past the halfway point, but they're still managing to maintain some amount of pressure here, and KKA have just not gotten any level of possession or success that we had seen in that last game, where Q and Sneaky were able to put something together, whether he through a passing play or an isolated solo play. And the fact we haven't seen that at all through 3 minutes is now concerning for KKA, because like you said, if this is how it's going to be, they shouldn't expect to be able to win this series, and Northway should realize now opportunity is at their doorstep.
Ooh, a little bit of a lag out there, and I thought that KKA had just completely missed the ball, but luckily enough for them, it's not going to be that detrimental, although it just might be. Pablo goes the other way, but it's off the bar. A huge opportunity for Northway to put a dagger in on this game, and instead, this one's going to go the other way, off the post, but into the back of the net. Oh my word, from the highest to highs to the lowest to lows. Northway looking like they could shut the door on this game, but all of a sudden, someone sticks a foot in and KKA come barreling through.
Aqua almost made a phenomenal save right there to get that ball edged out, and if it doesn't hit the post, it rides the wall. I don't think Q has the angle right there to get that putback, but instead it does take that perfect angle off the post and gives Q the opportunity to get that equalizer. Minute and a half to play now, no longer equalized. Aqua said, I understand what happened last time. That was a fluke. I will be taking this ball, taking this midfield boost, and taking this lead.
Much better. I don't know if you can hear the golf clap I've got going on right now, but Northway, that's what we've been looking for. That's the type of play style that we've been hoping to see this team execute with, and it hasn't been there for quite some time. Now that it has returned, I'm hoping we get to see a little bit more of a back-and-forth series, but first, they still need to mute Sneaky. Someone put a silencer on this man. How on earth?
It's Sneaky. You shouldn't be able to hear him anyways, but he is making a splash here on the shots that he's taking. I mean, getting a goal back just that quickly to tie this game once more. They got to find an answer for Sneaky. I don't know what it's going to be, but good Lord, Sneaky's just doing the most here to keep the Klein-Kind army in this game.
Oh my word. Q, though, apparently stepping up as well. It does seem like both players have been, well, pretty much delivering exactly as you said, and Q might just be able to put in the dagger as well for his team. Not quite able to do so, but he will get a bump on the other end. Pablo just kind of surprised by that one, and oh boy, they're going to be surprised when this hits. Not the back of the net. Q off target with that one, and when Sneaky commits, it's going to be a little bit of an issue, but luckily enough, Q fast enough to recover out at midfield here. But KK with a chance to put in a dagger on this game, and not quite able to do so, unfortunately.
30 seconds to play, a demo at midfield. Q and Sneaky looking for an angle. There's a shot on off the demo, and that's going to be enough. Just dangerously looming on the line, and they're too scared to touch it, afraid to knock it in. Had to get behind it to try to reset, could not do so. So 22 seconds left. Q gets the shot to just convince that ball across, and the Klein-Kind army take a 3-2 lead.
Oh boy, and with 22 seconds left, this might be the most important 20 seconds of the Northway day here. They cannot allow ththemselves to go down 3-1 in this series. It would be detrimental to their chances, and they might just be in that scenario. Q a chance to put in a fourth, not quite able to, but now Northway have got to try and pull this one back from their own half. Pablo up for this one. No, he will not. Q will beat him to it, and Sneaky will be there for the dagger. Fourth goal goes in at 0 seconds, and we head to game number 5 with a 3-1 series lead in favor of the Klein-Kind Army.
And what a finish to this game. I mean, just watching what just happened out of that one. I mean, you cannot ask for anything better to finish that game off, because that's exactly what they needed to do. I mean, they had to ensure to find some level of pressure. You just full commit to the offensive side of the field, and that's what they were trying to do. And you got to give them respect and a nod of appreciation for that, because, well, they tried. Let's take a look at the replays here to see what else they tried to do in this game, unfortunately falling short on this one. But just that much of an effort on that final play of the game, and of course it's going to get punished the other way, because that's a full commit to the offensive side. Of course your defense is going to be open, and the nail in the coffin to make the insurance lead. Phenomenal play by the Klein-Kind Army.
Phenomenal play by KKA. And I feel like that's the biggest thing here is it's not one of these things where it was like, okay, we're seeing a drop-off from Northway. We're just seeing KKA step up when it counts most. And they are not just stepping up. They have leapt up the stairs, grabbed the ladder, and sprinted up that as well. The turnaround from this team is just unreal. I mean, Caribou, at this point, what else do we say? We said Sneaky needed to start popping off, and guess what? He did. And not only did he hasn't stopped.
Yeah, and I think that I've now realized the error in what happened. They probably took it to heart, what we talked about to start this game off, or start this event off, rather. We said Northway has to hit a plateau. They got to peak to hit the plateau to beat Wavi's team. They hit that plateau, and they really didn't change after that. And now they're just content at playing at that level. They're not really striving for anything more. If anything, they're taking a little bit of a dip down on their play quality. They're not playing as that duo as well as we would expect them to. So they're, taking a bit of a step down, while as you said, the other side, they're not just skipping stairs. They're just going all the way to the top immediately. That's the express elevator. And there's just no answer found right now from the other side. I mean, you got to get off that plateau. We're going mountain climbing.
We're going to have to find out if they have brought their gear and if they are ready for the trek, because all of a sudden, game number 5 is underway. Backs against the wall for Northway here. They're going to have to climb back for 3 games in a row if they want this final. And I mean, listen, it's possible for Northway if we can see them go back to the peak, but the unfortunate truth is they don't only need to peak, they need to slow down their opponents. Klein-Kind Army are here, and they are ready to play.
With the 3-1 series lead, they have everything in front of them. All they got to do is finish it off, and Sneaky will do just that. Q's going to get the clearance. Sneaky already halfway, streaking downfield, is going to be able to get the nose on and convince that ball in. A 1-0 scoreline, just about 40 seconds into this game now. The Klein-Kind Army taking this lead because they want this series done here and now. They don't want any chance of a comeback from Northway.
I'm going to have to just highlight Q for a second on that last play. 2 defenders. One is just going for the bump. The other one is going from the shot. The fact that he not only dodged both of them, but then put a shot that was basically on target going the other way. We might have called this a Sneaky show earlier. It's time to call it the KKA Dazzle. I don't know what else to call it at this point, because both players are just going off. Q, compliments to you. Hats off to you at this point, my friend. We remembered Sneaky's name. I'm remembering yours as well from here on out.
And this is just another name added to the legacy of Sneaky, right? Like, it's just how many players has Sneaky brought into this community open, and just they've done so well, and then they continued to fare so well after the fact. Pablo's going to do very well in this one, taking this coast to coast, following the demo, and keeping this one on the hood. Easy dribble to equalize this up about a minute and a half into this game. So Northway, they say, yeah, we recognize your talent, but we are not giving up just yet. We are still in this fight regardless of the series score.
This is going to be an interesting one. This series is going to just be a legendary battle that will go down in the ATL histories here, but question is who writes their name in the history book as the victor. It might just be KKA. I know this seems a little bit chaotic, but just watch the body block. Well, you need to understand what Sneaky's doing here. He's making show that they can't tell if he's going to take the shot or if Q's coming up for it. So when Q blazes in out of nowhere, they don't know what to do.
Didn't even see Q coming from off screen. And exactly like you said, just faking out the defense, making them play the mind games as to who is going to take this ball. Am I going to continue holding possession and ringing this one around to try to play it off the wall, play it off the corner? Or is my teammate from midfield going to take this shot? And a great body block right there to set up that opportunity and just outwit your opponents at that point and take advantage any way you can. That just shows the elite mentality of the teammates between the Kleinkind army and what they're capable of doing. Northway just have to find a way to outwit their opponent. That has just shown how smart they are, the IQ that they possess here in Rocket League. And it's not an easy task to do because of the fact that not only are you down in this series, you're down in this game, but you've seemingly been fighting a losing battle for all 4 games that you've been playing.
The unfortunate truth is they really have been playing from behind pretty much this entire time. We talk about this a lot, especially with teams that are pretty even. Sometimes it just kind of comes out to who puts their first foot forward and makes sure to maintain that little bit of an edge throughout the series. And yeah, I kind of want to say that's been the separating factor, but it's also just this. Sneaky. What? He gets an offense, he delivers.
Yeah, Sneaky, pretty good with the ball in the air, as we've come to find out over the last few months. I don't know if that's shocking news to anybody that's new to watching Community Open. Sneaky in the air is something that you got to deal with, and well, Sneaky's going to deal with you as well, as we saw off that demo, just being able to carry that one in and then remove the defense. And Aqua this time around will step up and meet on that ball coming in from the side, but you're already down to this score line, under 2 minutes to play. You got to find something more. You got to find a way to break this down and get this offense of Northway going. Get these rotations between Pablo and Aqua, these passing plays that they are so good at. And we just have really seen one time in all 4 games. A little disappointed in the lack of that quality team play we know Northway is capable of.
Yeah, this is a very capable team, but that's the big thing, is it just kind of feels like Northway haven't had the chances to shine here in this series, but they've still got a chance. With 80 seconds left, can they get a good offense together? Can they find themselves something to keep them in this series? They have to, otherwise it is the very end. Backs against the wall for Northway. Elimination game and a chance to walk home with $100 instead of $350. So let's see what they've got. 60 seconds left, and they are pressed into their half for now. But can they break out? Good touch here against the wall is actually not really going to lead to much. I thought Aqua would get an offense here, but instead he gets a little bit of a lackluster flick, and against a player like Q, that is not going to break them down whatsoever. 15 seconds have passed since we last spoke, but no, sir! Northway will still not change the score line anyways. They look like they had a threatening offense, but as this one goes down to the other end, they'll have to restart once again. And I hate to say it, but if KKA slot in another shot, that's the end of this series. There's no 2 ways about it, and as they are on the prowl, continuing with this offense, they just might. No, Q cannot slot that one in, and it opens up an opportunity. But with 15 seconds left, it is now or never. Northway basically need 2 consecutive goals. They get a 50-50. Pablo is up, but as this one is sent the other way, that is curtains. 5 seconds left on the clock, and at this point, they are just delaying the inevitable. 1 more goal in for Sneaky, but KKA will take the series nonetheless and win your Atlanta Community Open for the month of October.
We almost had it right, but we just flipped it the other way. We had the series to the other side. Unfortunately, 4-1, 4-2, maybe give them the benefit of the doubt, but the Kleinkind army came in convincingly to be able to take this one. Sneaky and Q looked so good in this one. And I mean, just that last goal, Sneaky said, you know what? Don't forget, I'm kind of the reigning champ here. You know how many of these players that I've brought into this Community Open, kind of like the grandfather of this one. So yeah, real recognize real, understand I'm still on top.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, listen, this is the man coming back through. He might have retired his cape and throne for a second, but the minute that he gets back on top, you can guarantee you he's strutting right back on, sitting on down, and placing a crown on top his head. Sneaky, you deserve to do so, my friend. What a fantastic performance. And as we look back upon the replays of this entire series powered by Microsoft ATL, we can see exactly how they were able to do so. It wasn't just the offense, it wasn't just the defense, it wasn't just Sneaky, and it wasn't just Q. It was the Kind Army working as a duo and really, really popping off when it counted most.
To give credit to the other side, Pablo and Aqua, I mean, they had those glimpses again, and I think that again, the narrative was just backwards. Like Pablo and Aqua, we expected to have that incredible duality of them and, what they were going to do on the field and be able to have these awesome passing plays and, great rotations to be able to set each other up for these phenomenal opportunities, but instead, it went the other way where Sneaky and Q were the ones that were guilty as charged, taking care of the ball, moving the ball around, and getting each other a great opportunity for a shot on, for a possession, for a save, and just they were taking care of business, like you said, on both sides of the ball, playing very well as a team. Pablo and Aqua, we know that they're capable of doing so. We saw it in the highlight reel in the top 10 segment to start the show. They were in like 6 of the top 10 plays, but they just could not get what they needed to really come forth in their strategy. Their game plan just never really came to fruition, and unfortunately, the series score shows that.
I mean, it really kind of just goes down to this basic statement that you and I have reiterated on this stream since basically the first Atlanta Community Open, which is fundamentals are a fundamental for a reason. You can try and play flashy, you can try and play exquisitely, you can do whatever you want, but at the end of the day, if the other team is just exploiting every little mistake you make and are cross-court countering, let's call it, I don't know, 70% of the shots you're trying, then maybe it's time to start trying a little bit less of an intricate shot there. Maybe don't expose yourself with these intricate plays, with these mechanics. And, well, in my opinion, that's what won them this game. KKA played their fundamentals, figured out where they had that key to victory, and not only did they take that key to victory and unlock the door, they made copies along the way. So, congratulations to the Kind Army. A fantastic victory here. They walk home with $350 extra in their pocket, and that is no small chunk of change. But unfortunately, as great as that might be, we do have to say goodbye to everybody because guess what? We are at the end of this one. My, oh my, Caribou. It has been such an incredible day full of some incredible Rocket League. But here's the other good thing. We aren't quite done. We may be done with this month, but oh, my friend, we still have got a lot more going on here. And again, if you guys want to tune back in and see even more Rocket League action, just a week from today on the 8th, or actually, no, excuse me, I believe it is 2 weeks for today, maybe on that Monday. We'll have to make sure on this one. It is going to be on the 8th at 6 o'clock, $175 for the first qualifier of November. You guys are not going to want to miss that. I can guarantee you it's going to be a spectacular show. And if you guys like what we saw this month, we have a lot of returning faces here. So maybe you'll just see some of the same guys that won it this month. Who knows?
Yeah, really excited for what's to come. I've heard some rumor talk about some format adjustments and things in that nature. So I'm excited to see what changes will come. So if you want to see just as well all of that, make sure you are here on that day for that qualifier event. Turn on notifications as well so that you know when we go live on Twitter, Twitch, etc. Be able to follow along at Skillshot Media, at IATLGG, and be able to, of course, follow us as well, because we're probably going to be here too. These Caribou, Bass from the past. I pointed the right way on the first try. I'm so much better than Troy. That's it. Chalk it. I'm done.
Well, if you want to try and, I guess, agree with those opinions or disagree with those, maybe we'll see Pib telling us that he disagrees with them. You can let us know down below. As you can see, join the conversation online. Use the hashtags ATL Open as well as IATLGG and let us know what you thought about this month. Like we said, some incredible action all around here, and we'd love to hear what you guys think about that action, because like we said, that's going to be the end for tonight. Thank you so much to everybody who tuned in. Shout out to everybody who helped us behind the scenes as well, all of our producers, all the people who made this month so incredibly special. But that special month has come to an end. Thank you once again for tuning in here. My name is Bass on the Pass, joined by Trevor Confused Caribou alongside me. We will see you next month on the very first, I believe the 8th, the first week of this November for another ATL Open. But for now, I will say goodbye. Enjoy the rest of your night and have a good one.
Yeah.